A regular meeting of the City Council held in the Council Chamber on Thursday, October 27th, 2016 at 7 p.m. for the purpose of transacting any and all business. Notice of this meeting was posted on October 25th, 2016 at 8:58 a.m. This meeting is being taped and is live on SATV. I also would like to remind everybody in the audience to please silence your cell phones. All councilors are present. Council President Turiel presiding. Councilor Fury moves to dispense with the reading of the record of the previous meeting. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. I now request that everyone please rise to recite the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilor Dibble.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilor Fury.
Please. Point of personal privilege, Mr. President and fellow members. If I may ask for a moment of silence in the memory of one of Salem's greatest public servants, Christine Sullivan. She made Salem shine and Salem State shine. May I ask a moment of silence by standing for a moment of silence, please. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you.
I'd also like to recognize, before we proceed with things, we have a number of students here tonight all along the outside wall from Salem Academy. They're here. Another group of their students was here on Tuesday night when we had our committee meetings to observe our goings-on as part of their government classes. So welcome. I also know a lot of these kids because these are a bunch of the kids from the soccer team. My son plays with them. So welcome. I hope we don't bore you too much. So before we proceed with everything else, we have Chief Butler's here. We have several police officers who've already been sworn in, but we'd like to introduce them to the city, and we have a promotion as well. I know the chief and the mayor wanted to kind of introduce them to Salem here, so if I could have a suspension of the rules to allow them to come.
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Epley. Seeing no opposition. Madam Mayor.
Good evening, everyone. It's great to be here, especially for this opportunity to introduce you to three of our newest officers and to recognize their promotion of Officer John Burke to Sergeant. We normally use these opportunities to actually swear everybody in, but because it was a little bit larger group, we had the swearing in earlier this week at the police station in the training room there. But still wanted to give each of you an opportunity to meet them, to recognize their support, to recognize their sacrifice to our community, and certainly support their efforts, and allow them to sign the book and officially become part of the team. But I do want to also recognize the support of the council in building a strong public safety network in Salem. I think just last meeting we had our new firefighters that we were swearing in. It's an investment in both our police and fire. This month more than ever, we know how important that is, but really every day these folks and many more like them are working hard and committed to the citizens here and ensuring we have a high quality life and keeping our neighborhood safe. And we wanted to give you a chance to meet them, and obviously thank you for the support in building a strong public safety team. Chief Butler.
Thank you for allowing us to have this time. You know, I think it's important that you get to know some of the newer officers that we have coming on, and I think it's important for them to know you folks as well. It is, as the mayor said, obviously instrumental to your support that we actually have new officers coming on. We sort of have this mix now between some really old officers and some really young new ones, which is okay. It's a good mix. It's actually working pretty well. But we had the unfortunate situation of having the loss of 3 officers in sort of, actually ended up with 5, but in very rapid succession this past summer. 2 that were actually planning on retiring, and then 2 people that actually left without retiring, and 1 that retired sort of on a last-minute type thing. So as a result, it's great that we actually have these people in the works, and that they just recently got out of 2 of them recently got out of the academy like 13 days ago, and we're hoping to actually get a few more folks in as we see this turnover consistently happening. So I just want to introduce you guys to these folks coming in. So if you would, why don't you come on in? Here's stand over here. So let me tell you just a little bit. So Christina Monk, she actually came on when we started losing some people early on in July. Christina came on with us as a temporary officer based on civil service rules, and we were able to actually fortunately get her into a permanent position shortly thereafter. So even though things turned out where people sort of left us abruptly, it was rather fortuitous because we have a very great officer here. She actually is a real go-getter. She put herself through the academy. And so she actually finished the academy in February of this year as she self-sponsored. She worked at the Essex County Sheriff's Department before that, and she is a Salem State graduate. She's very conscientious, hard worker, and all her supervisors say she's really tops at this particular point in the short period of time that she's been with us. She's married to one of our other officers, Bob Monk, and she has a beautiful daughter, Mackenzie. So, Christina Monk. Next we have Corey Gauthier. Corey is one of the two people that just finished the academy 13 days ago. Corey's been a lifelong resident of Salem, so he's been here for quite some time, very dedicated to the city. He also graduated from Salem State College, and he has been a terrific asset because he went to the Reserve Academy early on, and so he's been working some of our special city events and some of our work along the downtown area for the last couple of years, which has really been truly helpful, an asset to what we needed. In the academy, he graduated the Methuen Academy, as I said, 13 days ago, and he was awarded the True Grit Award for obviously his fortitude, and I think also sort of a demonstration of leadership that other people looked up to. So, Corey Gauthier. And of our last, but not least, Wesley, is also Wesley Reagan. And so Wesley comes from the Essex County Sheriff's Department. He also graduated from Endicott College, and he is obviously excels in what he does as well. I will say he graduated the Methuen Academy 13 days ago, and he was in the top 10 percentile, academically speaking, in the academy, and in reality, the director of the academy director came to me and said that he was actually about 1/100th of a point away from being top in his class. So we're expecting lots of good things from Wesley Reagan. They're just going to tell a real quick story. Is there was like a little delay with Wesley getting on, and I'm actually thrilled that he's here because he was one of 6 people that I actually had to take off of our list because it was expiring in a very short period of time. And it was in civil service rules, it was you put everybody on, all 6 of them, without really screening them and looking at their backgrounds, or you get rid of all of them. And it was unfortunate because there was really 2 good candidates, and Wesley is definitely one of those great candidates, and you can tell by even his academic performance that he is, and I'm glad that he is finally here. Wesley Reagan. And by way of promotion, when we had a sergeant depart, Sergeant Gagnon retired this past July, and I was able to promote John Burke. John Burke's been with us for a number of years, and I can't say anything but positive stuff about John Burke. Following his career and what he does, he goes to the end of time to try to find any evidence, trying to resolve problems, trying to deal with issues. He leaves no stone unturned, as I say. He was put into CIU for a short period of time. I had to take him out because of staffing issues, and then I put him back in. So he's actually been the individual who has been leading the peer review specialist that we just started this past August, dealing with the overdose individuals that we have. And he's done probably somewhere in the vicinity of about 80 door knocks. And they've got at least 7 people right now into treatment. They were able to furnish about 33 doses of Narcan, and 2 of them actually have been used on the street to save someone's life. So I credit him with actually getting that up off the floor and rolling in a really good, positive way. So I'm thrilled to promote John Burke. So all we need to do is get you guys to officially sign the book.
Take a recess.
Yeah, take a move for a 2-minute recess to allow these guys to sign the book. Thank you. All's in favor? Opposed? Recess. Do you have any idea? Motion to resume?
So moved.
So moved. Favor? Opposed? So moved. Public testimony. We have 3 people signed up. First, Susan Yokelson, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Thank you. Susan Yokelson. I live in Salem. I'm here representing Salem Sound Coast Watch this evening. And actually, I'm wearing 2 hats. I'm also representing Salem Alliance for the Environment. Salem Sound Coast Watch is at 12 Federal Street. I live at 5 Eden Street. So I'm here to speak on behalf of the plastic bag ordinance, and I thank you for this opportunity, and I appreciate the work of the subcommittee. You guys did an awesome job. This is so important because the plastic bags contribute to litter. They wreck the marine environment. This morning when I was going to work, I was walking down Church Street, and this little grocery bag just kept flying by as it was on its way to the nearest storm drain. And in fact, the senior project scientist who has the contract with the city to monitor the catch basins and the storm drain system says that plastic bags are a significant source of litter that's found in the storm drains. Now, the reason Salem Sound Coast Watch cares so much about it is that plastic bags also mimic jellyfish in the ocean, and turtles and other sea mammals think that it's food. Jellyfish are an important source of food for turtles and other sea mammals. There was a whale, a sperm whale that was beached and dead that they did an autopsy on and found 100 plastic bags in the stomach of this sperm whale. So it really is a serious problem in the waterways. Also, they're like diamonds. Plastics are forever. They don't ever biodegrade, but instead they photodegrade, breaking into smaller and smaller pieces, which starts to resemble plankton over time, and so it therefore gets into the food chain with other mammals eating it. Now, one of the problems that's important for us to realize is that only 5% of the plastic bags that are used are recycled properly. And I'm sure every single person in this room knows that on recycling day, you go past the toters and you'll see things in plastic bags inside the toters. Well, that actually creates a very big expense because those plastic bags gum up the machinery in the sorting facilities for the recycling. I had the opportunity to take a tour of Waste Management's facility, and I mean to tell you, they have to stop that thing about every hour and pull out all the plastic bags because there's so many of them. So it's important to get them out of our system, and that's what this is trying to do. We're excited that Salem is in the forefront of taking this on. Right now, 39 communities have passed ordinances and bans like this. 7 are proposed, including ours, within the state. And it's time for a change. What they've learned is across the country is that there's been no negative impact. And in fact, in the subcommittee meeting, the Rinus Ustek from the chamber was here saying that the merchants are willing to participate. Crosby's itself has, of their 6 stores, 4 of them are in communities that already have plastic bag ordinances, so they know how to accommodate. And I just give you one example of the advantages. In San Jose, California, they found that there was a 59% drop in park and roadside bag litter after they passed their ban. Ours is not a ban, it's an ordinance. There was a 60% reduction in creek and river litter and an 89% reduction in plastic bag litter in the storm drains. Now, one thing that I would like to mention is that it's important that the ordinance indicate that the bags must not be mistaken for single-use bags, and I believe you're going to be submitting an amendment to it, that the bags have to be at least 4 mils thick. And the reason for that is that in California, in Monterey, California, they allowed bags that were 2.25 mils, which right now both Stop and Shop and Market Basket are selling 10-cent bags that are 2.25 mils, and they say on them, on the bottom, they say these can be used 125 times. But what they found in California is they surveyed 740 shoppers, and only 4 had reused the bag. So that means that people are paying 10 cents every time they go to the store to get this bag that's supposed to be reusable, and they're not reusing them, so the goal is not being accomplished. So I urge you to consider favorable passage of the ordinance and passage with the amendment. Also, I just want to give a shout out to Tori Keiko, who's right here. Tori's schedule did not permit her to get here in time to do a public statement, which is unfortunate because as part of her internship with Salem Sound Coast Watch, she was the driving force behind it, and we're so proud of her and what she's accomplished, and I'm very proud of the council and what you are embarking on right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Carol Houtow.
Hi, Carol Hutto. I live at 1 Linden Street, and I'm just here to speak in the name of senior citizens because I know it has come up before in front of the subcommittee that perhaps this would be seen as a burden by senior citizens, and I just wanted to point out that most of us grew up going shopping with our grandmothers who had their string bags and their cloth bags, and I and many of my friends have already armed ourselves with many of those cloth bags and find them to be very comfortable to use. So I support the bill for all the wonderful reasons that Susan has given, and I hope that it is passed.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Tim Jenkins. Tim?
Thanks very much for giving us the opportunity to speak to you. I just wanted to start maybe with a little quote that I think we've probably all heard this word. I won't go into the history, but we've heard of Pyrrhic victories. And I think we may end up having 2 of them tonight, or at least setting off on 2 of them. And just to remind everyone, a Pyrrhic victory is a victory that inflicts such a devastating toll on the victor that it's tantamount to a defeat. Someone who wins a Pyrrhic victory has been victorious in some way. However, the heavy toll negates any sense of achievement or profit. I'm concerned about 2 things that we're going to vote on tonight, possibly not for the last time. One is something we've all spent hours and hours on, 297 Bridge Street. And I guess my concern is simply this. We've spent a great deal of time, gotten very close to having something that could actually get accomplished and get done. But I have a feeling what's going to happen is you're going to pass a bill or an ordinance or decisions to purchase or rezone or what have you, and then you're going to find yourself in the unfortunate case where somebody decides they don't like the decision, so they're going to appeal to, as they're allowed to, as we all have the right to appeal to a court to have it adjudicated. That process is always 2-3 years long, and this one will be very much like that. If we want to accomplish something there and get something done in a reasonable period of time, assuming that it will hold up in court, there's probably a better way of approaching this, and I would say it consists of not pushing zoning changes any further than you have to. It's really probably unnecessary. You have a couple of options, including continuing use, which may be able to apply, at least on the existing web building, and as opposed to going directly to B4, but it certainly deserves a very close and accomplished an attorney with a great deal of experience in land law. We have access to those type of attorneys, and I think we should avail ourselves of that before we go much further there. But assuming we can't figure our way out and you have to go the route of B4 in order to allow the expansion to continue, I guess everyone's going to have to live with that, but we will have explored it. But next door on the city-owned property right now that we took some time ago and cleaned up and have a parking lot that functions and that actually, even at $2 a day, can generate about $50,000 worth of income. And we've just been told that its current valuation for a sale will be around $375,000. So if you do the numbers on that, even assuming some costs, it's a hell of a good return just keeping it as a parking lot. I'm not advocating that, by the way. It's just in terms of what price you're going to get, you might want to look at a better price than $375,000. Nevertheless, my sense is by moving B4 onto there, that's going to be the sticking point that nobody's going to get over in the neighborhood, and as a result, a suit will be brought. and then nothing's going to happen. And in fact, you probably lose Webb as a result of this. So I'm not predicting that, but if I were a business and I was being told I've got to wait 2 or 3 years, I'm not sure I'd be patient. There are other options. So I just consider that. I'm not sure, I'm sure you've all thought about this a lot, but I want to end there on that. And the second one I became concerned about is actually somewhat analogous. Currently, it's used as a parking lot some of the time, and right now we have a carnival taking place on the lot. And the city is about to consider using CPA funding and/or bonding a purchase of that property. I don't understand the valuation. I do know the property was purchased, I think, in 2003 for like $1.3 million. I understand that because it's a commercial property, it's zone B5 and what have you. It has value. It has a great deal of value as a commercial property. Somebody may have picked up toxic issues, I don't know, but all I can tell you is as a commercial property, it has that kind of value. As a park, to remove a commercial property off the rolls, we're getting $11,500 a year out of this property currently undeveloped in taxes. You're going to give up that, then you're going to build another park. I want to get to the basic core problem I have with this idea. We have parks all over the city. Many of them have wonderful historic structures that we have not been able to maintain. It could be the barns up at Mack Park that we use for elections right now that I understand need all kinds of work. They've needed work for a long time. We've got buildings down at Winter Island that we've all looked at and gone, oh my goodness, isn't this horrible? We managed to get a rubber roof on the hangar, but it's still falling apart. It needs a lot of money. We have seawalls that are failing. We're going to lose land as a result of those seawalls, and yet we're going to add something more to our list of parks that we're not able to maintain and stay on top of as it is. And then right across the way from this particular property that we're considering purchasing is another park, a pocket park that we built on Peabody Street. That park, if you go down and look at it, it did get mowed recently. It's in a very poor shape, and this is probably after, what, 10, 15 years, somewhere in that range when we did that park. We've had trouble staying on top of it. It has a little band area that's the roof of that's all falling apart, yet we're going to build a new one across the way. When is it going to look just like the one across the other way because we don't allocate the resources that we need to look after our parks? I really think that's what you ought to be looking at, not buying more that you can't look after, not taking property off the tax rolls. If you want to extend that walk along the river, there's ways of doing that without having to purchase the whole property. And in fact, that's what we ought to be talking about with somebody. How do we get that property right along the water so we continue that water work? That makes sense to me. But to take that off the blocks, off our tax rolls, spend that kind of money, bond it. You mean we don't have the money right now? We have to bond it, we have to tie up the future, and so we paid for this at $100,000? It makes no sense. I agree, interest rates are low, so take advantage while you can, but this to me makes absolutely no sense. I just don't understand it. Use these kind of resources, the CPA, for what it's supposed to be used for. Truly purchasing open land. This is not open land by any stretch of the imagination. Fix historic resources. We have tons of them. They need fixing. Or build housing. And by the way, in many instances, you can kill two birds, we're talking parks, with one stone. Why wouldn't you find an opportunity to both save or maintain a green space we already have that's truly a green space and maybe fix a historic structure in it and put that to use? I don't understand why we're talking about this, but anyway, thanks very much for...
Thank you. Hearings.
We have a hearing continued from the last meeting. Request from Domino's located at 4 Canal Street for extended hours of operation. The amended requested hours will be from 10:30 a.m. to 2 a.m. Saturday through Friday, 7 days per week.
Hearing in favor, please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm Jeannie Cashman, 4 Abbott Street in Danvers.
David Jenks, Tarbox Lane, North Reading.
Okay. And if you could speak to your request and...
Well, we're here tonight for a continuance. We actually, I had given the wrong hours when we submitted a few weeks ago. Gave the Salem, New Hampshire store hours instead of Salem, Mass. We're indeed open till 2 o'clock in the morning. We've been in this site since 1996, servicing the customers that pick up as well as delivery. We've just renovated the store. We've added dine-in for 25 people to be able to join us inside our store, and we're looking to, I guess, ratify the hours that we're open till. We found out that there's a couple of other places. Sammy's right across the street from us is open till 2 a.m. Deb's Diner is open till 2 a.m. And Bill and Bob's Roast Beef is also open till 2:30.
And is that for dine-in on all those locations?
I believe so. Do you have any more information on that?
No, Deb's Diner's from 11 p.m. to 2 p.m. the next day. Bill and Bob's was, I believe, 12:30 for dine-in and then drive-through. Sammy's Roast Beef is 100% dine-in until 2 a.m.
Any questions from members of the council? Councilor Dibble.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. When we last spoke on this matter, I rose in concern of safety with vehicles, with the expanded parking lot, the elevation that was filled of 4 or 5 feet, so that it becomes like a, when cars whip in there, and I've looked at this a lot since we met, cars whip in and they can just project themselves right over what will be the future bike path and bounce one time and be right down on the train line down the bottom of the exit of the tunnel. And since we met, it looks like a propane tank was added there as well. So one more obstacle course. And you said that a guardrail would go in immediately. Well, the guardrail has not gone in. I question some of these hours that were just presented, and it might be on a Friday or Saturday, or just on a Saturday, or just on weekends. I don't remember ever, and I drive through there often, I don't remember seeing Sammy's open at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 2 o'clock in the morning. I think 7 days a week, 2 o'clock in the morning, next to residential neighborhoods. We had testimony at our last meeting where several neighbors complained about the quality of life being diminished. So I have some serious concerns. Number one, safety there. We need to make that expansion of the parking lot a lot safer than what it is, and that's not before us on here. But the lack of attention to that, if that's indicative of what might happen at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm absolutely against this. But 7 days a week, 2 o'clock in the morning, it's still a residential neighborhood.
Any other members wish to comment or ask questions of this? Well, Councilor Lovely.
I don't have a question, but just by comment, I did get a couple of calls, and I believe a couple of my constituents came down to the meeting, so I'd have to represent them, and I'd have to be opposed.
I will comment on this in the hearing that as the counselor for the ward where you guys are located in, I have a lot of concern about doing this, about being open those hours 7 days a week. That's something that I don't think I can support to have dine-in 7 days a week at that point. I understand that the takeout business is different, and that Sammy's does have extended hours, and there are a few other businesses in Salem with extended hours. We do need more late night dining options. I know several counselors have expressed that, and I agree with them on that side. But I would have great difficulty in supporting a 7 day a week expansion of these hours. I would be myself, again, as the representative from the ward in question, you're in a neighborhood that borders several different neighborhoods. You border Ward 2 nearby, you border Ward 3 directly across the train tracks, and you're in Ward 5. My inclination would be, if the body would have support for something of this sort, I would be willing to, I would be amenable to considering a trial of later hours to say, I believe your current time is 11 that you close the dine-in by? Or?
Yes.
Correct.
I would be amenable to potentially extending that to say to at least midnight or possibly even 1 for perhaps the Friday and Saturday evenings at this point, and see how that goes before we considered going any farther with it. But I would like to see what members of the council think about that as a possibility before we move forward with anything. Councilor Famico.
Thank you. So as Ward 2 that boards it on another side, I'd be amenable to doing that till midnight, say Sunday through Wednesday, and then a 1 a.m. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evening. As a trial basis at first, so say till the end of this calendar year, and then come back before. That would be my inclination. Just as someone that knows how college students work and a younger population and late nights, even workers that they get out at 11:30 or midnight for that.
Yeah, any other discussion from Councilor Milo?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a quick question. What are your current hours?
Currently, we're open till 2 o'clock in the morning, 7 days a week.
Currently you are?
Correct. We have been for years and years and years.
For takeout and delivery.
For
For
delivery and
delivery,
takeout.
right,
So, yes, so the dine-in
yeah.
has just been since, just after Labor Day. And we were told to close at 11 o'clock for dine-in. We still offer carry-out, still offer delivery till 2 o'clock.
Oh, so 11 o'clock is a dine-in?
Yes.
Okay.
And I wanted to also address one of the other concerns, the guardrail. This is on me. I had a site contractor doing all the work behind there, working with the city and working with David Knowlton to try to complete that project with the city. And our site contractor was supposed to build the guardrail. He didn't accomplish that. We separated our ways, and I hired somebody separately. I do have a copy here, if you'd like it, that we signed an agreement on September 5th to get this guardrail installed. I had mentioned to Jeannie it was going to go in immediately. The person postponed on me. It was supposed to go in yesterday. He said he had a family issue. It is now supposed to go in tomorrow. I suspect that it's going to be in tomorrow or very shortly. So that guardrail will be in, and I agree it is an issue, so we're going to address it. We're also putting up a do not enter sign on the opposite side. If you've been in the parking lot, you'll see that it's angled parking, and we've had some people coming in the wrong direction, which has caused a little bit of an issue as well. So the do not enter sign should address that issue also. I don't know what the propane tank is. I assume it's something with the city or something with the MBTA. But my understanding is anything in there is going to get buried over then when the bike path goes in.
Councilor Sargent.
Oh, thank you, Mr. President. For you, I can't support this because there are residential properties nearby. I've walked Pond Street, Washington Square before with issues they have with late night things going on in the parking lot and some other establishments that are open late. And you want to be open late because they are. And then next, the House of Pizza is going to want to be open late because you are. And there'll be that effect that somebody mentioned last meeting. And before you know it, at night, the comings and goings of your drivers you can control. You can hire and fire them if they make any noise, if their stereo in their cars are too loud, whatever. But you can't control the comings and goings of people, especially after the bars closed, especially in October, as they come and go this time of year. And I think the residential people around there put up with a lot of the downtown people walking to and from there, and they just don't need any more. We sometimes complain about absentee landlords. These late night hours help us create absentee landlords because people are going to move out of their houses and end up renting them out. Then we're in here because there's college parties at these apartments where somebody used to live in the house, where a lot of them were 2, 3, and 4 family owner occupied, and that's starting to go away around the downtown. So we have to maintain the quality of life in our neighborhoods, and I think that 11 at night till 6 in the morning isn't too much to ask for families to be able to have some reasonable peace and quiet. So thank you.
Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm in complete agreement with the at-large councilor, and I will be a solid no against any extension of dine-in hours.
Very well. Any other councilors wish to question or comment? Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I support the Ward 2 councilor in her suggestion to have a trial period, and I think you had mentioned it as well, just doing a trial period at least to see if it works and go from there.
Okay. Any other councilors wish to comment before I open it up to other people in the audience?
Could I just make one comment on that? Is let's say there's only 24 hours in a day, and the business gets 17. The residents get the other 7 for reasonable peace and quiet. And they aren't asking for a trial period to have you close at 9 o'clock at night so they can have more peace and quiet. They're living with the rules that are in place. So I don't support a trial period. I support letting the people have 7 hours for reasonable peace and quiet. If I had 24 $1 bills and I was going to give anybody here 17 and keep 7, well, it would be a pretty good deal, right? So you guys get most of the hours in the day, and the families need some time for reasonable peace and quiet. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else, anybody in the audience wish to speak either in favor or opposed? Seeing none, any other counselors wish to ask questions of the petitioners? Councilor McCarthy.
Mr. President, my only question is, could you just clarify what we're going to vote on?
We haven't moved on what to vote on yet.
Okay.
I'm suggesting I can't make a motion from the chair. I would like to see a motion that would grant a trial period according to the parameters that the Ward 2 councilor suggested through the end of this calendar year, and I would require as an addendum to that that they would have to come back in at the beginning of the year, and we would get any complaints that have been issued in that time before making a decision as to whether to grant anything further or whether to resume regular hours at that point. Because I agree very much with all the concerns that we have here about impacts on the neighborhood. We already do have food establishments. This is not an alcohol serving establishment, and they are already open for business during those hours. So this would be adding the ability of people to come sit in and not just take it away and go. So I think that it could possibly be a good addition, but I am very concerned about it having impacts. I think this period would be sufficient to determine whether or not it was to our benefit or not. And if there was any problem, any issues at all, I'd have no problem whatsoever not granting that on a continued basis. So if after we close the public hearing portion, if I would, if we could get either a motion. I would also ask the petitioners if a trial period like that is something that would be workable to.
Thank you very much. Yes, we would be amenable to a trial period. I feel confident that, we can manage the business. And if we don't deserve to have extended hours. I guess I would ask the council to just consider, what we've done as a business partner here in Salem. We've taken that back area that was not the best to look at and spent substantial funds, some funds that, regardless. Mm-hmm. We're in this with you guys. We would be amenable to the trial period and would just like you to consider what we've done as far as an investment to change this building around, change that corner around, and try to be a proud business owner in Salem.
Thank you. If the council would make a motion on for the public hearing portion. Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the public hearing be closed.
Councilor McCarthy moves the public hearing be closed. Councilor Dibble.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. President. Before we do that, can you just get a confirmation on what are the existing dine-in hours, please?
Certainly.
Dine-in is 10:30 in the morning to 11 p.m.
7 days a week.
To 11, 7 days a week. Thank you.
And that's what we were told that we had to abide by until we could have this hearing.
Right. It's true. Thank you.
Thank you. So, any further questions before that motion is acted on? Seeing none, on Councilor McCarthy's motion, the hearing public.
Oh, sorry. No, I thought you were talking.
Okay, on Councilor McCarthy's motion, the public hearing be closed. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Councilor Famico.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we amend the petition to go 10:30 a.m. until 12 a.m. That would be midnight, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then 10:30 a.m. until 1 a.m. Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Second.
With a conditional period until December 31st, 2016. They'll require we get a report from the Salem Police before then. And I also ask if this goes forward that you train your staff if there are any instances or disturbances that they call the Salem Police immediately.
Absolutely.
And seconded by Councilor Gerard.
So under discussion. Pursuant to the rules that are asked to be reduced to writing, please.
Excuse me?
The motion be reduced to writing so we can review it.
There's ordinance paper.
Just give Councilor Famico a little bit to do so.
Could I ask for a 1-minute recess to put this into writing, please?
Okay. Seeing no objections, take a moment recess to get this written.
You can state it.
Motion to resume.
So moved.
Motion to resume, and this is slightly altered now that it's in writing. Is that okay with the good word 3, Council?
I'll let you know.
All right.
Thank you. So the amended hours will be 10:30 a.m. until 12 a.m., parentheses midnight, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and 10:30 a.m. until 2 a.m., Thursday, Friday, Saturday, for a trial basis until the first council meeting of 2017, so not the end of the year.
1 a.m.
Oh, that's 1 a.m. was the
Oh, sorry, 1 a.m.
motion.
Sorry about that.
Can you reread that again, please?
The amended hours will be 10:30 a.m. until 12 a.m., parentheses midnight, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and 10:30 a.m. until 1 a.m., Thursday, Friday, Saturday, for a trial basis until the first council meeting of 2017. Following the completion of the trial basis, the petitioner shall reappear before the City Council at its first regularly scheduled meeting of 2017 with copies of any police reports of respondents to said business provided to the council.
Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President. I offer a friendly amendment to the good Ward 2 councilors' order that none of these changes take effect until the guardrail is in place and approved by the city's building inspector and city engineer.
Second, Councilor McCarthy.
I respect what the good Ward 7 council is trying to do, but how can you, the gentleman just produced a paper he passed around specifically to the Ward 7 councilor, which states that he is in agreement with the company to do so. And how can we tie something to one thing to another? I really respect the fact that he's worried about public safety, but the fact of the matter is, the gentleman's already stated it should have been done, but he hired another company. It should get done in the next couple of days. He passed around a paper that stated that fact, and now we're trying to tie something. We're trying to tie extended hours, which may or may not have the support of this council, to something that isn't even relevant or germane to it.
Councilor Flamingo.
I would be okay with making that a condition, especially due to late night hours and the proximity to the rail. At that time, if we're talking, the last train from Boston, I believe, is at 12:45 a.m. You're going to have the commuter train passing and then cars potentially pulling into that lot. Some people, their night vision is very poor, so I would be okay with making that a condition.
So Councilor Flamingo accepts the amendment. Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, we have businesses that we've already approved in this room, this same body, to be open till 2 o'clock in the morning, 7 days a week. So I don't know why we're discriminating, I guess, against this one particular business. When there's a business across the street that's open till 2 o'clock in the morning, 7 days a week.
Can I speak as a petitioner?
Motion to waive the rules to allow speaks and spoke. So moved. Yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would suggest, first off, that there is a 4-foot concrete retaining wall between our parking lot and the train tracks. So it's more than code would require as protection. Granted, somebody could actually go beyond our parking lot, but they would actually go into the dirt and stop far short of the tracks. And two, if this was part of the process, I don't know that a guardrail needs to be approved by an engineer. We've already had the site engineered, and the guardrail is being installed to spec. And I also don't know that the building inspector needs to inspect that. So we've got our certificate of occupancy, and that was something that was an item to happen after the fact.
Councilor Dibble, I would suggest that if it's not required that the building inspector come and re-inspect that installation, that we not have it in the amendment. But I have no problem with requiring that it be installed, if you speak on that.
Thank you, Mr. President. My friendly amendment stands as I've stated, please.
All right. Councilor Flamingo accepted. So, yeah, Councilor Dibble.
If I may, I just want to point out again, I raised 2 weeks ago, from a safety standpoint, the parking lot is open. Yes, there is a concrete retaining wall next to the railroad tracks, but there's a big bathtub of maybe a 4 or 5 foot drop before you get to that retaining wall, and a car that whips around the corner, which I've seen done frequently, could jump the little bituminous concrete curb at the edge of the parking lot, which is already starting to crumble, project itself almost straight across and over that retaining wall without hitting the bathtub of soil down below. I'm concerned from a safety standpoint that we're going to have a car over the tracks, over the wall and in, or at least in the gully that will be the future bike path, or hitting the propane tank, or again, just flipping over the wall and down on the commuter rail line. It's unsafe. The parking lot, in my personal opinion, should not be open at all, but it is open. And we were told 2 weeks ago by Domino's that the wall, the retaining wall, the guardrail would go up immediately. So I rise again in objection that the lot is unsafe the way it is right now. And to have late night activity there with the guardrail still not in place 2 weeks later is unacceptable in my eyes.
Councilor Gerard?
Thank you, Mr. President. If I may ask the petitioner, how many accidents have you had in your parking lot?
None that I'm aware of. None I'm aware of. And from the edge of our parking lot to the retaining wall, I don't know the exact length, but it's got to be at least 25 feet to that retaining wall. And I would assume the propane tank is empty at this point. I can't imagine how anybody could have filled it. Again, it's not mine, it has to be the city's, but no, we've had no accidents.
And you've been open for how many years?
We've been open since 1996.
Okay. No accidents, no,
I understand.
you know, if we're talking about a rail, we're going off the rails here.
Councilor Ryan?
Thank you, Mr. President. I can't believe we're spending this much time on this, but I don't think that should be tied to this order of open later, because they're open during the day. Basically, what you're saying is the building inspector, whoever inspected, didn't do their job. If they're open during the day, I understand where the risk of something happening, people drinking, then going there afterwards, getting something to eat, more likely to go over that thing. But it's there, they're open all during the day too. We shouldn't tie that into that. I mean, if it wasn't safe, the building inspector engineer wouldn't have let them open, and if they did, then shame on us. But I doubt we have great people that work for the city. I don't think that we should be tying this to this order.
Well, I'll say, Councilor Formica's already accepted the amendment as, the amendment as such, so.
We have to vote on it, don't we?
Yeah, so.
We have to vote on the amendment.
Not if you accept, she accepted it. President.
So, the question before us is to accept the trial period of hours, and with the amendment as proposed by Councilor Dibble. Councilor Formica?
Could I read this one final time, Mr. President?
Yeah, sure.
And I did just make an amendment to one of the words, if I could get a second.
All right, we have to, well, we'll have to accept the wording.
The amended hours for Domino's located at 4 Canal Street, so that part's in there, shall be 10:30 a.m. until 12 a.m. midnight, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and 10:30 a.m. until 1 a.m., Thursday, Friday, Saturday for a trial basis until the first council meeting of 2017. Following the completion of the trial basis, the petitioner shall reappear before the city council at its first regularly scheduled meeting of 2017 with copies of any police reports of respondents to said business provided to the council. Conditional on the installation and approval from the city engineer of a guardrail along the parking lot.
Can you read that last part again?
Conditional on the installation and approval from the city engineer of a guardrail located along the parking lot.
Mr. President, I request a roll call vote.
Sure. Show of hands for roll call vote, please.
On this as amended? This is the entire thing amended, though. The first sentence also had an amendment.
That's the amended motion, because she accepted the friendly amendment. So.
No, Mr. President, the first sentence also, it changed will be till shall be, so there wasn't a change in that as well.
Now you know why I asked you to put it in writing.
Does anybody have any questions on the wording as was placed here? I would say, given that I don't have any issue with requiring that this guardrail be in for this take effect. They've already stated that this should happen imminently, so I have no problem with making that conditional. No further discussion. I'd say, Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Counselor Dibble?
No.
Counselor Epley?
No.
Counselor Formica?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
No.
Counselor Gerard?
Yes.
Counselor Lovely?
No.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Milo?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
No.
Counselor Terrio?
Yes. On the question of amended hours for Domino's as a trial period, we have 11 councilors present, 11 voting. We have 6 in the affirmative, 5 in the negative. The matter carries.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President, could we ask for a copy of the final motion of this be provided to Domino's within the next few days? Great, thank you.
See that. Thank you.
I want to take a job in my show.
Further hearings.
We have a request from Target located at 227 Highland Avenue to request a one-day extension of store hours on Friday, November 25th, 2016, the day after Thanksgiving, to open sometime after 12 a.m. for this day only. Target normally opens Fridays at 8 a.m.
Appearing in favor?
Hi, my name is Mark Lombardi. I'm the store manager at the Target on Highland Ave, and I am here to request that special opening for Black Friday from anywhere from midnight. Target's excited to celebrate the holiday season, and it's a very competitive time in the retail business, and we are looking for that special opening time. We believe that this will allow us to better serve our guests and meet our business goals during a highly competitive season.
Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is more of a comment. Last year, we had an application from Walmart, and we rejected that for Black Friday. And I hope that we reject this request as well, because in Salem, I would hope that Black Friday doesn't exist. That we continue to have all of Target and Walmart's competitors open at regular hours, just like every other store. We don't need to abide by Black Friday. We have Black Monday, that'll be Halloween. But we do not celebrate Black Friday in Salem.
Councilor Lovely.
Just for the record, it's in my ward, and I appreciate the good work for council's comments. I got a telephone call from your office asking me if there was anything else that could be done, any more information than I needed, and I'm not sure if it was relayed to you, but I said, yes, have some of your employees come up and let us know how they feel. I don't know if there's anybody here from...
That was not relayed to me.
So, and I know you have a job to do, but I did get some telephone calls from some employees, and this was prior to the petition, but they knew it was coming, and I said, how do you feel about that? And they said, would rather not be working on Black Friday. So I'm not a big shopper. I've got 2 daughters and a wife, but they haven't expressed any opinion on this, but I would agree with the good counsel. You did it last year. There was not any big hue and cry. When I saw it, I was a little befuddled by it, but nobody seemed to complain, and you're on the same playing field as everybody else in Salem. So unless there's, employees are looking for more hours and we really have a huge demand, I don't see, other than you're doing your due diligence, you're coming before the council asking as the corporation has asked you to do, but I don't see a groundswell of support for being open on Black Friday in Salem. Thank you.
Any other question, member of the council, or discussion? No other question for the petitioner? Anybody else in the chamber wish to appear in favor? Any members of the audience want to appear opposed? Seeing none, Councilor Lovely?
I move the hearing be closed.
Councilor Lovely moves the public hearing be closed. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Councilor Lovely.
Yes, I move the matter be denied.
Councilor Lovely moves the petition be denied. All those in favor, which would be in favor of denying, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Thank you for appearing.
Thank you.
Before we go into appointments and reappointments quickly, I have just one thing I was asked as a favor by the mayor, who had to depart, to just let the audience know. The draft of the Salem for All Ages Friendly Action Plan is online prior to be submitted to the World Health Organization. We ask any Salem residents interested to offer comments prior to November 1st, which is only a few days away. A full draft of the plan is available for your review at salem.com. And there are printed copies of it available here at City Hall if anybody wants to come and review it in person, take home a printed copy to look at. So we'd appreciate any feedback before this is submitted. Thank you. Appointments and reappointments.
Held from the last meeting, the mayor's appointment of Attorney Tanya Stepasik, 10 Burnside Street, to serve as a member of the Traffic and Parking Commission with a term to expire October 13, 2017.
Councilor Famico.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Councilor Famico moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Yes, so Tanya is a PhD candidate for public policy at UMass Boston with their Collins Institute. And a lot of our counselors know, and some at home know as well, they help with our Salem City Stat. So City Stat is helping us from everywhere, from city services to the Salem Police Department and where we're spending monies and how we can kind of better be using things. So Tanya's specialty for this is a lot of public policy with organizational issues and service deliveries, which I think will be a tremendous asset for our new Traffic and Parking Commission. If we're looking at how we're doing things and who's doing what, she's really our girl for that, and that I know she's going to help us a lot with that commission. At this time, it will be later on in the agenda tonight, we are pretty much ready to roll with them. And through the last few meetings, the people we've been appointing, I can't wait for them to get to meet each other and to start tackling some of Salem's traffic. I like to consider it more transportation than traffic and parking initiatives for that. So I'm enthusiastic about this. And for Tanya's location, she actually has been a newer resident to us about the last year. She, prior to that, has lived in Danvers and Wakefield, so she has a little bit of a mix of different styles of communities, and then currently lives off of Bridge Street now, which is pretty much walking distance to the downtown. So I'm very glad that she has added this to her resume, and that she'll be working with us on this.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Counselor Dibble?
Yes.
Counselor Epley?
Yes.
Counselor Famico?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Gerard?
Yes.
Counselor Lovely?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Milo?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Terrio?
Yes. On the matter of the appointment of Attorney Tanya Stepasik to the Traffic and Parking Commission, 11 councilors present, 11 voting, all in the affirmative, none in the negative. The matter carries. Councilor Famico.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for a suspension of the rules to allow Tanya to address the council if she chooses to do so.
See no objections.
Great, thank you very much. It's Tanya Stepashuk, by the way, but I'm never offended when anyone gets that wrong. It's a pleasure to meet many of you tonight. As Councilor Famico mentioned, I work in my day job with a lot of different cities and towns around the state, so it's really a pleasure for me to be able to work for my hometown here, my new hometown. I moved here about a year ago, and I love it here, and it's a pleasure to be able to participate in this way, so thank you for that opportunity, and I look forward to working with this, what I'm assured is a great commission, so thank you for letting me be a part of it.
Thank you. Further appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's appointment of Matthew O. Smith, 12 Northeast Street, to serve as the City of Salem's Traffic and Parking Executive Director for a 2-year term to commence on November 14, 2016, and to expire on January 31st, 2019.
Councilor Famico.
Held under the rules.
Councilor moves be held under the rules. Communication from the mayor.
We have an appropriation of $35,058.42 from Retirement Stabilization Vacation Sick Leave Buyback Account for the contractual buyback of Michael Fecto of the Police Department.
Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor Epley move for suspension of the rules. Seeing no objection, Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption.
Councilor Epley moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of this City Council and the city, I just want to wish Mr. Fecto a very happy retirement. This is part of our regular vacation and sick leave buyback, and so I ask my colleagues for support.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none on Councilor Epley's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further communications for the mayor.
We have an order to authorize the mayor to enter into a lease agreement with Ferrara Fire Apparatus, Inc. to lease purchase of a custom fire pump trucks for the fire department.
Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this matter be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole.
Councilor Epley moves for this be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I had in the back of my head Joe O'Keefe saying that we should move for adoption tonight, but I held back on that. So I'm looking forward to having a committee meeting, and we'll be able to look at the lease and look forward to eventually having a new pumper.
On Councilor Epley's motion for referral to the Committee on Administration and Finance, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Mayor's informational page. None. Motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem in City Council, October 27, 2016, ordered that the monthly financial report dated September 30, 2016, be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance. And I move for adoption.
Councilor Epley moves for adoption. Under discussion.
No discussion.
On Councilor Epley's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem in the City Council, October 27, 2016, ordered that the year-to-date budget report dated July, August, and September 2016 be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance.
Councilor Epley moves for adoption. Under discussion.
No discussion.
On Councilor Epley's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further motions, orders, resolutions. Councilor Fury.
Yes, please. Order that the regular meetings of the City Council for the months of November and December be held on Thursday, November 17th, and on Thursday, December 1st. Mr. President, fellow members.
On Councilor Fury's motion for adoption, under discussion.
This is a tradition by the City Clerk and the City Council to have only one meeting in the month of November due to the election and due to the Thanksgiving holiday, and to have also one meeting in December because of the holidays taking place. So we're wishing for adoption, please.
On Councilor Fury's motion, Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President. Friendly amendment, if I may, that the December 1st meeting be moved to December 8th.
Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Actually, I would ask that we keep the December 1st date for purposes of setting the tax rate. I know that the city finance director and the mayor are working on that at present, and there are deadlines that I'm not recalling off the top of my head, but it's important that we have the hearing at the earliest possible date within December, because that's when it will be set.
Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll withdraw my friendly amendment.
Thank you. On any further discussion? On Councilor Fury's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Lovely.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, in the year 2016, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, be it ordered by the City Council, City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking, limited time is hereby amended by adding the following. Broad Street in front of number 57 for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking zone. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by the city charter.
Councilor Lovely moves for adoption for first passage. Under discussion.
No discussion.
On Councilor Lovely's motion for adoption for first passage, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Fury, could you take the chair?
Yes, please. Councilor Choriel.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, year 2016, ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking limited time is hereby amended by adding the following. Repeal Geneva Street in front of number 1 for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking tow zone. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter.
Under discussion.
No discussion, Mr. President.
Any further discussion by the City Council? All those in favor? All those opposed? Unanimous. Councilor Choriel.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, year 2016, ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking limited time is hereby amended by adding the following. Repeal Wisteria Street in front of number 9A for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking tow zone. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter. I move for adoption first passage.
Under discussion.
No discussion.
Any further discussion by the City Council? All those in favor, raise your hand, please. Thank you very much. Unanimous.
Thank you.
Councilor Chorio, thank you.
Still more. City of Salem, year 2016, a ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Chapter 42, Section 56, parking meters zones established is hereby amended the following. Washington Street Municipal Lot in front of 203, 209 Washington Street, meters 683, 682, 681, 680, 703, and 702, 30 minutes, 8 o'clock a.m., 6 p.m., Monday through Saturday. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by City Charter.
Under
Move for
discussion.
adoption, first passage. Thank you, Mr. President. This is a tough one. I don't really like, in general, when we mess with things that are in the city parking plan. In our master plan, virtually all the spaces in town, other than a few handful of them, have been turned into 4-hour spaces. I think overall that plan has worked very well, and I'm generally loath to tinker with it. This is a case where in the plaza in front of where Starbucks is and the Bank of America, the UPS store and all those, that parking lot was recently cut in half by the sale of the parking lot to RCG for the hotel project that they're embarking on. So as a result, we've lost pretty much half the space that was available for parking, and due to that, we now have the people who are parking there using the full 4 hours or close to it, and in some cases parking all day because we don't enforce it well enough, but that's a separate story. And because of this, the businesses there that are in that building now and have been there for many years that depend on fairly fast turnover, like Starbucks where people come in, get their coffee and leave, the UPS store where people go, pick up their mail, ship a package and leave, the bank where people go in and make a deposit and then get out, most of those businesses are now being affected by that, and they have been ever since the lot was first closed off in the early spring. So I've been working on this for a long time. I actually started working this back in springtime and trying to make this happen. This had gone to the parking board just before the parking board was abolished. So they had it on their plate and never got a chance to do anything with it before they shut down. And then we went into the summer recess and such, and it's taken a while to get this through, get the Lieutenant Przewski to review it and also to bring it back before us in the traditional manner. I know there's thought we're bringing in a Parking and Traffic Commission. We're starting them soon. They may want to take a fresh look at all of this stuff as they get forward, but right now we have a problem where we have half the lot is empty, half the lot is no longer usable, the other half is occupied most of the time, and we need some relief to get to enable people to use short-term spaces. So this was the best compromise we could come up with at the time. I'm really looking forward to seeing further work on all this and further work on the city as a whole, but right now, this is something that we've been working on bringing forward for quite some time in this ward, and I'm hoping to bring it forward for first passage tonight.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Amico.
Yes, Mr. President. So I'd like to move to send this to committee. The reason behind that is, as mentioned, we do have a new commission coming forward that should be looking at all of this comprehensively. While we have Starbucks there in the UPS store, if you look across the street in different directions from Tavern and the Square side and then across with the other spot, we have banks and coffee shops all over. If we're changing 6 spots here, we should really be having a comprehensive look at all of these spots. And I'd like to also add that the spots in question are also in front of an hour-long foot massage business and also another place that has hour-long massages, so they're right next to each other. If you also look in other directions with that, we really just need to be having a comprehensive look at all of this and not just doing 6 spots in one location versus not looking at other spots. I had spoken to some soon-to-be members of our commission that are already on board, and they suggested, well, maybe we do 1 spot in every block that's a limited time metered zone, but I think to take 6 spots right now, and the other part of the lot I'd also like to add that's currently blocked off used to be zone 1. So if you look at Riley Plaza now, it currently has more zone 1 spots that were added after the lot was closed off, because those were actually zone spots that people were pulling into that did not have the parking passes. I'm not against changing these going forward to having some limited zones, but I think 6 right now is too much when we're about to change over to having this commission on board. And I know it's not my ward, but if you go across the street on one side, it's my ward, and if you go across the street on the other side, it's also my ward. I'd just like us to actually give the people who have a background in parking and traffic and urban design to get a chance to take a bite at this before we go and change a parking plan that had a lot of thought put into this. So I'd like to move to send this to committee.
Councilor Epley wants to speak.
Committee of
Councilor-
Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs.
Councilor
Co-posted.
Epley wants to speak, and Councilor Gerard. But may I first go back to
I just want
Councilor
to,
Chouial,
one
please?
correction on the Good Ward 2 councilors. On the previous lot, roughly half of that lot was Zone 1 parking, and the other half of that was metered parking. So there were metered spaces, roughly 15 to 20, I don't remember the exact count, that were lost when the lot was taken away.
Your request tonight is action tonight,
My
not to
request
put it in
is,
the- not to put it in the committee.
Yeah, my request
Not-
is for first passage.
So, Councilor Gerard, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I agree with the Ward 2 counselor. I don't think that we should do anything before we have this reviewed by the Traffic and Parking Commission. As the good Ward 5 counselor pointed out, that this was originally going to our former parking commission, so why not just send it to the new commission? And furthermore, there's parking right across the street at Riley Plaza. So,
Thank you. Councilor Epley?
Thank you, Mr. President. My suggestion would be a compromise, and that would be that we adopt what the good Ward 5 counselor has been working on within his ward for the past several months. We adopt that on a trial basis for, say, 90 days. That would allow the parking commission, the new Traffic and Parking Commission, to then take up that issue, and they can make the final resolution as to what takes place.
Councilor Chouial, would you consider that friendly amendment?
Yeah, no, I
Allow a
would
90-day?
I would have no problem with that. I believe we would have to change this from an ordinance to an order, however, in order to do so. And I would ask the city clerk if we can do that within our bounds.
Change it into an order if you like.
Change to an order for a 90-day trial rather than an ordinance for permanent.
An amendment, would be an amendment.
Councilor
Mr.
Famico?
President, I just have a question that because our parking rates are set by city ordinance, if we're making it a half-hour meter, what is the rate for parking for a half-hour meter? Because right now it's 25, for the meters, it's 75 cents an hour, 25 cents for 20 minutes. How would you then set the meter rate for that?
We don't have any half-hour meters.
Well, the motion before us is Councilor Chouial's request with the amendment, friendly amendment attached that he affirmed positively. So I think that's what is before the committee. Is there any other discussion?
So then I would accept if somebody would provide that as in the form of a amendment to convert that into an order, somebody could move to convert that into an order for the trial period.
Councilor Epley?
So moved.
Thank you very much. Councilor Famico?
If we could amend that just to make it so, as the one we did earlier for a trial, to make it to our first regularly scheduled meeting of 2017.
That's certainly fine with me. I just want,
Yeah, no problem with that.
my only concern is that enough time? If that's 60 days roughly, so.
Any further discussion by the City Council? Councilor Chouial, please.
I think 90 days is probably a good number. It gives the commission time to get started and get their bounds set as well. So I would prefer 90 days as on the order, and that's often that's what we do for trial traffic orders.
Yes, please, Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Perhaps then, instead of the first meeting in January, but the first meeting in February?
I'd have no problem accepting that.
Councilor Famico?
With that, I'd like to once again know how much we're charging for this. I'd like to remain a meter. So I'd still like it to go to committee on that, just because there's questions as far as the rate for what 30 minutes would be, and there's also this trial for that. There's more than just making it the trial. There are concerns, and it's with our ordinance with how much the rate for parking is currently as part of the big parking plan a few years back.
A motion has been made and with a friendly amendment, no one opposed, to the city clerk. Which supersedes? Should I make a request to the city council to send it to committee, or to go along with Councilor Chouial's request and friendly amendment by Councilor Epley? Which would be more appropriate,
The amendment.
Madam City Clerk?
The amendment.
Vote on the amendment?
Amendment then committee.
So are we voting on the amendment? Pardon me, Councilor
Just to
Chouial.
confirm, so it's
No,
first the
Epley.
amendment, and then it's a vote to send it to committee, and then it would be a vote for adoption of the trial amendment. Okay.
So on the request of Councilor Chouial, with the friendly amendment attached, no, yes, please, Councilor Lovell.
Pursuant to the rules, the motion to commit would precede the
A
motion.
little bit louder, I apologize.
The motion to commit to committee precedes the motion to amend.
So you're saying, your interpretation is Councilor Lovely?
It would be, the motion to commit would be first.
Okay.
So the
Yeah,
first
President.
vote would be on the motion to send it to committee.
Yes.
Send it to committee.
That'd be the first vote.
Yes.
Okay. Any further discussion to allow this request to go to committee. Any further discussion?
Can we have a roll call vote on that, Mr. President?
Yeah, please, a little bit louder.
Roll call vote, Mr.
A
President?
roll call vote is being requested. Do I see 3 hands for request for roll call? So we have a request for roll call on sending it to committee. Madam City Clerk, maybe we have under further discussion, Councilor Dibble.
Mr. President, I'm wondering if the good Ward 5 counselor can explain, is there an emergency? Is there a reason why we need to do this now instead? I know you're opposed to sending it to committee, but I'm curious why, if we could hammer out some details of a different compromise.
Yeah, Mr. President, thank you.
Joel.
Simply it's been a time factor. We've been, since this lot was closed in the late winter, the businesses there have been struggling with these parking issues for some time. They're not going to get better. We're not going to gain spaces in that area to deal with the flow that we had before. So we've been trying to get something done for a substantial amount of time. Unfortunately, it's taken this long to get to this point, and I'm really looking to give the places there relief in a timely fashion, and we've been unable to do so far. To take this matter and send it off to committee for discussion will then take at least another several weeks and add them to the process. And during the fall months when it was going, and so I have no problem with doing this as a trial order and hopefully getting things going. But I would prefer not to send this to committee and then have us working with it for whatever determinate period.
Councilor Milo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you, these businesses have been through a lot. I agree with the good Ward 5 counselor. I understand the request to send this to committee, but I think if we can give the businesses just a little bit of relief over the next 90 days, I think that would be the thing that I would certainly be in favor of.
Thank you. Councilor Famigo.
Yes, Mr. President. I'd just like to note, though, our next regularly scheduled meeting is November 17th. So if we were to have this in committee, we could come back on November 17th and start a trial right on November 17th. Today's date is just a few days before Halloween, so that's about a 2.5-week break that lets us nail down the rate that it would be for that trial and other details like that. And also to get DPW or the parking department on board with whether it's creating signage or everything else. They're not going to be able to even make that probably for the next week or so. So if we had that committee meeting in the next couple of weeks, November 17th, we can come back and start a trial right at that date.
Councilor Choyo, thank you.
And that would seem okay, except if we were to do this now, we're talking 3 weeks until the next meeting, and then we still have the delay in getting DPW to do signage and deal with any issues in that time frame. So again, it's another minimum of 3 weeks delay to whenever we can get whatever we get the changes in place now. So
the motion before us is to send it to committee by roll call vote. Madam City Clerk.
Councilor Dibble?
Yes.
Councilor Epley?
No.
Councilor Famico?
Yes.
Councilor Fury?
Yes.
Councilor Gerard?
Yes.
Councilor Lovely?
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy?
No.
Councilor Milo?
No.
Councilor Ryan?
No.
Councilor Sargent?
No.
Councilor Turrio?
no.
Thank you. On the motion to send it to committee, 11 members present, 11 members voting. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 yes, and 6 no. It does not carry. So the request now is
To amend it to a motion for 90-day trial?
Yes.
Or to a trial to end at the first, as of our first February meeting?
Yes. Any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion?
This is the motion to amend.
Motion to amend. All those in favor? All those opposed?
Opposed.
1, 2, 3 opposed? 3 opposed? Okay.
The matter
Passes? Passes?
Not unanimous.
No, unanimous.
All right, and then finally on the motion to
Thank
adopt.
you. A motion to adopt? Any further discussion to adopt the motion by Councilor Torriello with a friendly amendment by Councilor Epley? Any further discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed?
Opposed.
With 2 opposed? 3 opposed.
3 opposed.
It passes.
All right, I have one more.
Sure, please, Councilor Torriello, thank you.
City of Salem, year 2016, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, of course. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 75, parking prohibited tow zone resident sticker is hereby amended by adding the following. Lafayette Street Zone B, color red from 339 to 441 Lafayette Street, to be included to obtain resident sticker parking permit. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter. And
Yes,
I move
please.
for adoption for first passage.
A motion for adoption for first passage. Any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion. All those in favor? Oh, sorry. I apologize.
Too fast. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
My pleasure.
This is when we made some changes in the area when Councilor Dibble and I worked on some extensive changes in the area around Lafayette Street and Loring Avenue to deal with Salem State issues. We created resident-only parking on the Ward 7 side of Lafayette Street, and that did have the desired effect of getting the Salem State commuter students, keeping the and faculty from parking there. It had the unintended effect, however, of making it impossible for the residents on the other side of Lafayette Street who use that as well for their visitors and the like, because there is no parking on the northbound side of Lafayette Street. It made it impossible for them to park whatsoever, because the way it was written, they were not eligible to use resident parking there. So I discussed this with Councilor Dibble, I discussed it with the traffic department and the collections department, and this is what we came up with to rectify that situation. At the end of this, from the point beyond 441, the handful of houses that are down further than that all have significant parking available to them in driveways, and going up and this pretty much takes it all the way up to approximately the corner of West Avenue. So this corrects the situation that we inadvertently created when we did resident parking. So I would move for adoption for first passage.
Councilor Dibble?
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate the good Ward 5's effort, Ward 5 councilors' efforts in this, and I support it. I just think that it needs to be all-inclusive. And just because the line down Lafayette Street, one half is Ward 5, one half is Ward 7, there's really no parking on the Ward 5 side, and I think they should be allowed to park on the Ward 7 side, because there is some room for them. We're all neighbors, so it makes perfect sense. But I just want to make sure, Councilor, if it's all-inclusive from the intersection of Loring, Lafayette, and West, so basically from West all the way, every
all
single
the way
house.
down to approximately Raymond, where the houses all have either short, very small amounts of parking or no parking.
And it's inclusive right up to West Avenue?
Yes.
Okay, good enough, thank you.
Thank you, and it's been great collaboration by both councilors with the cooperation of Salem State College to have these things done in positive for the neighbors and residents in the area. So thank you. Councilor Churiel, a motion on first passage. Any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous? Councilor Churiel, congratulations.
Yeah, that was quicker, thank you. And then I have one further. City of Salem, City Council, October 27, 2016. Order the following rules, City Council, be amended as follows. Section 22, numbering member seats. I would ask, unless everybody wants to hear this in the room, I'd ask we waive the reading.
Waive the reading.
Yes.
Thank you. I do have one amendment I'd like to ask to make, because there was a typo in this. In the line 2 of section 22, it was written as determined the president, but it should be determined by the president. So I would ask that somebody offer that as a friendly amendment, which I will take. Thank you. So,
Thank you. Any further discussion on Councilor Churiel's order, the following 22, 26, and 27?
Councilor Lovely.
Pardon?
Councilor Lovely.
Yes, I will. Thank you, Councilor Lovely.
Yeah, under the rules, we can't act on this evening, so I'd ask to be sent to the ad hoc committee on rules that has been set up. So, by rules, we can't vote on it this evening at the meeting that it's brought up. So I would ask to be referred to the committee, ad hoc committee on rules.
Councilor Churiel.
I say they have scheduled a meeting, I believe, next week. They have scheduled a meeting for next week, so we would hopefully have this back in time for the November 17th meeting, so I don't have any problem with that referral under that.
A motion requested to be sent to ad hoc committee, a meeting for next week.
Report back for
to report back to the next
17th.
City Council meeting. All those yes, please, Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a point of clarification. I would support the Ward 5 councilors' rule changes here, but would we be deleting rules as well?
Councilor Churiel.
Thank you. Just to the Ward 7 councilor, These would be replacing the existing rules of 22, 26, and 27. These are all rules, and just to give a quick background on this for those who are not going to be participating in the ad hoc committee, these are 3 rules that have come up in question during the course of this term. And in all cases, the rules as they are written in our city council rules and as we adopt every year at the beginning of the session are in conflict with our actual practice as a body. We've had extensive discussion on Section 26 and Section 27 in the last few weeks, and Section 22 was a question that also came up at the beginning of the year. So what I decided to do, the ad hoc committee had not had a chance to do anything yet in terms of proceeding further on this since they started at the beginning of the year, so I decided to take on my initiative to try and write down as best as possible what the current practices are and give them either to adopt or to run through the committee for hopefully, amending our rules. And I hope there's other ones that they're going to be taking a look at as well with the hopes of making these changes.
Councilor Epler, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would actually add a friendly amendment to the Ward 3 councilor's motion to refer to committee, to ad hoc committee, that it be co-posted with the committee of the whole.
I have no problem with that.
And the reason why I would say that is that normally that's a really dry kind of thing, just the 3 of us, but it sounds like we've got some interest, so come join us.
Councilor Lovely?
Just to point out, I was going to suggest, I think that's a great amendment, that people come. Now, I'm from the old school, you don't have to have the committee of the whole come in order for people to participate and to cover all the rules. And, I'm certainly aware of them, but it's a good point. But it's going to take 2/3 vote to change any of these rules under our rules. So people have an interest, and it makes the city council run in a way that really that you can expect what the rules are, and you can abide by the rules, you can know what the rules are, and it makes the meetings more interesting, at least from my perspective, so that everybody, they're not very difficult to read, and I think if you read them, you'll find, gee, I didn't know that. And they're very, very simple. It'll take 10 or 15 minutes for you to take a look at them, and you'll say, wow, I didn't know that. So you can use them to your advantage to put your point of view forward, and I urge you all to take a look at them and come to the meeting, because we can have a very dynamic discussion as to what's appropriate in this day and age and what's not. But most importantly, it's going to take 8 votes to change any one of these rules. So I hope you'll attend. Thank you.
Thank you. To Councilor Milo. Councilor Milo, when is the next meeting scheduled? Is there a set meeting schedule so we can all attend as a committee of the whole?
Thank you, Mr. President. It is Tuesday, which is November 1st? Yes, and it was posted today.
So the rest of the city council now knows it's a friendly amendment by Councilor Lovely to send it to the ad hoc committee, co-posted as a committee of the whole. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Unanimous? Thank you, Councilor Churio.
All that time on the floor was a wonderful warm-up for next year when I get to go back there. Any further motions, orders, resolutions? Councilor Sargent.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, City Council, October 27, 2016. Ordered that the Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs meet to form a committee which shall form rules to govern how home rule petition liquor licenses are issued, where they are an allowed use of the principal use regulations of the City of Salem zoning ordinance. No discussion.
Adoption of the motion, referral to, that's to Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs, co-posted? That's to Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs, co-posted?
Yes.
Adoption. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Any further motions, orders, resolutions? Councilor Sargent.
City of Salem and City Council, October 27, 2016. Ordered that the Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs meet to form a Neighborhood Impact Quality of Life Committee to discuss quality of life issues in Salem. This committee will report back to the Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs with recommendations for improving the quality of life in the neighborhoods of Salem. Thank you.
All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Any further motions, orders, resolutions? Seeing none. Committee reports. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, October 27th, 2016, and City Council. The Administration and Finance Committee co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of an order to authorize the mayor to purchase property located at 289 Derby Street on behalf of the City of Salem for $1.4 million. Said land shall be subject to an open space preservation restriction, has considered said matter, and would recommend adoption by roll call vote.
On acceptance of the committee report, all those in favor? All those opposed? So moved. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had a very lengthy discussion this past Tuesday in committee. We had several members of the public who came to speak. We had members of the Community Preservation Commission as well, committee as well, who provided their unanimous support to this proposal. Basically, Mr. President, I will have two more committee reports that will tie into each other. But this is essentially 289 Derby Street, Mr. President, is the empty lot between Count Orlocks on Derby Street, as well as the gas station on Derby Street, and it abuts the canal that's there. And what has been proposed is the purchase of this property for the purpose of providing a public space or an open space with the potential for building this is my word, but a plaza area to be open to across the canal. There was a lively discussion concerning this. This is and I'll speak in support of it a little, probably what I anticipate some lively debate here tonight as well. But I just wanted to tee this up and get the discussion going.
Councilor Milo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you, we did have a good discussion the other night. I was the one dissenting vote on the committee. And as I mentioned on Tuesday night, I started looking at the numbers. We're talking about $1.4 million to purchase the property that's valued at, I think, about $390,000 right now, assessed, excuse me. Another $600,000 to bond for this. Another $100,000 to do the design. Part of the conversation on Tuesday night centered around what kinds of restrictions there are purchasing this with CPA funds. There are a lot of, and so we spend $2.1 million, and we still haven't done anything to the land, with the land, built anything, cleared anything. I know the mayor has a question about, or we all have questions about what actually sits there. Is there anything, any contamination there? So the biggest reason I couldn't support this on Tuesday remains the reason I can't support it tonight, and that is because there are too many questions that are unresolved. We got, I think many of us did, I'm not sure if everybody did, but I got a very comprehensive email from the executive director of the chamber today, who expressed concerns. Many of the concerns were expressed on Tuesday night. So I would ask that we send all of these matters that are related, we've got 3 here, back to committee to give us the opportunity to do a comprehensive study and have a robust conversation about, first, whether or not we want to purchase it, what funds we want to purchase it with, what we want to see there if we do purchase it, how we will pay for it, whether it's the purchase or the build-out or construction afterwards, and what we're going to do to kind of make up the loss of future taxable income when we take a piece of land that's valued at $1.4 million off the tax rolls. So to do kind of a cost-benefit analysis, we can't do it with what we have now. We don't have a cost, and we don't really know all the benefits because we haven't had an opportunity to even have that discussion. So I would strongly suggest, and I would request, and I would, actually, I'm going to make a motion that this go back to committee, co-posted with the committee of the whole, to continue the conversation so that we can have a more informed discussion, we can make a fully informed decision about this, because I don't feel that the information we have now will really allow any of us to make that fully informed decision.
Mr. President.
Councillor Fury, then Councillor Gerard.
As a strong supporter of the Community Preservation Act over the years, I had the chance to speak to Mike Schultz, the chairman of the Community Preservation Act in Peabody. The Community Preservation Act has been in effect in Peabody since 2001. 2001. And they've done wonderful things in the Community Preservation Act. They're way ahead of us. They bought pieces of property along the River Walk with the Community Preservation Act. They brought windows for City Hall, as we see here, for the Community Preservation Act. And also on the corner that we're all familiar with, on Main Street and Washington Street, they recently purchased the Betancourt Mansion on the corner of Washington and Main Street and the church next door, with the help of the CPA. Not entirely, but with the help of the CPA. With the big help of the CPA, they've sent in a request to restore Crystal Lake in Peabody. They've done a major funding of the Park and Recreation Department, as we have over the years with CPA. And the last I'd like to mention is they actually purchased, and now they own, Tilly's Farm, for $2.1 million. They bought it over a 5-year period. Community Preservation Act. So our sister city, with long experience, 15 years now, over us, have acted in a wise, judicious manner. They have Mike Schultz as the chairman of that committee, and they deliberated very carefully. I think this is an opportunity that Salem has, something out of Godfather, that we can't refuse, to clean up that, to have that river walk to be second to none. And that will also be a catalyst to what's happening on the other side. So I stand in strong support, as Councilor Epley is, because this is an opportunity once in a lifetime to grab. Thank you.
Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. So the other night at our meeting, we actually had 3 matters before us, and the way that we voted, the way that the discussion went, and taking into account what people around the community had discussed, and as well as members of the Community Preservation Act, was that we felt strongly as a committee, 4-1, that we want the mayor to engage and to sit down and negotiate with the seller, because we think that this would be a missed opportunity for us if we do not purchase this, because most likely what's going to go on that land is probably going to be a building. And this is a great opportunity for us to purchase some open space and also to have a river walk. And so that's what this matter here, that's what all this is saying, is we want the mayor to sit down and negotiate and start looking at the property seriously and tell the owner that we're the ones that are interested in this. And if something comes up, we can still walk away. And further, with our other issues were we talked about, do we want to use CPA money or don't we want to use CPA money? And I think we all felt strongly enough that we wanted to explore other ways of purchasing the property if it comes back favorable, that we can look at bonding through the capital improvement plan. We can look at bonding through other means and not just using the CPA, and that's why one of the other matters before us is going to remain in committee. And so that's, again, all that this matter is saying, why we said 4-1, that we recommended this favorably, is because we want the mayor to engage. That's it. That's all we want from this. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Lovely.
Thank you, Mr. President. I took part in the discussion. I made clear what my concerns were. My concerns first, as a real estate attorney, that I would advise my client to do a 21E to find out what problems might be on the property. I also thought my client might ask me, well, what can I put on the property and how much will it cost me? And I took a look at some figures. I applaud Councilor Milo for her questions the other evening. I thought that this was going to sail through, and I'm happy to hear that councils are willing to take a look at what the ramifications are going to be. In 2006, approvals were obtained for this property for 37 residential units and 10,000 square feet of commercial property. The value today, in today's dollars of that, the commercial space would be about $50,000 a year in taxes. The taxes that we return for the condominiums that would be built would be about $289,000 per year. And so adding that together would be about $340,000 in tax revenue that we're going to forego. That's over 20 years. So that's almost $9 million that it's going to cost us to purchase this property over 9 years, in addition to factoring in the $2.1 million that we're going to spend. So we're at $9 and $10 million for that piece of property. And is it worth it? Is the benefit going to be sufficient for that type of an investment? I'd like to know, what's it going to be? What are we asking for? I would suggest that we find out the property's clean, then do the study. What would people like to see there? I saw some pictures, black and white, of some concepts, but we don't know how much those are going to cost. We don't know what grants are going to be available. I think these are valid questions that we have to have, the community has to have answers to. We had the meeting on Tuesday. We're asked to vote today to tell the mayor that we're in favor of purchasing this. I don't have enough information. In addition, the assessed value of the property is about $380,000. The city charter does not allow us to purchase property more than 25% above that figure. That's our city charter. If you want to take a look at it, Section 30. In addition to Chapter 40, which gives the powers and duties to the cities and towns, under Section 14, the same, it has to be passed by 2/3 vote, which we're all aware of. However, you also can't purchase the property for 25% above the assessed value. The assessed value, we'll say it's $400,000. The most we can pay for this is $500,000. And if there's a way around this, I don't know what it is, but we just don't have enough information. It's a big investment, $10 million for that parcel. Before we put a shovel in the ground, I think the public deserves to know that. They deserve to know what we're doing, and what we're doing with their tax money in their future. I'm opposed to the CPA because I don't think everybody in Salem wants the CPA to continue. There's an election on the 8th of November. Several communities are going to be vying to get into the CPA because they see this big pool of money. Well, that pool of money comes from surcharges on property deeds. So when and our 1%. Now, it's possible that maybe the administration here or in other cities are going to come and say, we want to raise that to 2%, we want to raise that to 3%, because at some point there's going to be very little, if any, match, because unless the legislature is going to put funding in. I don't know. Everybody's looking for funding for much more important things than what we're looking for to build a park there for CPA funds. I'm not opposed to it. I need to be convinced. I need to be, show me, I need to know, is it clean? What are we going to do? How much is it going to cost? And then get some input from the public at large and find out, is this something that we really should do as a council? $10 million, remember that. That's for 20 years, and that's in today's dollars. And going forward, after the 20 years, we continue to lose that revenue that would be coming from property taxes. Thank you.
Councilor Fumiko.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I would like to see the city purchase this land, and there's a lot of potential there for how we can develop it. We talk a lot about a green space. Open space does not necessarily have to be green entirely. There's other opportunities to program and to design. However, I would not be in support of using CPA funds for the very reasons that were just outlined by the Ward 3 councilor, including that after 5 years, people can opt out of the CPA. However, if we have other obligations, we're kind of tied to it unless you pay off the bond for that. Due to the information that was presented to us tonight for information relative to the city charter and to make sure we do everything correctly, I would second the good-at-large councilor's motion to send this back to committee to make sure we get this right. If it is part of the city charter, we need to make sure that we're abiding by that and not making our own rules in the process.
Councilor McCarthy.
I just have a question. There seems to be a document that everyone's referencing, and I don't know what members of the committee members of the body got the document. I haven't been given the document, so I don't even know what we're looking at. I know a bunch of people are looking at it, but no, thank you. And where did this document come from? Just curiously.
I produced it.
Oh, thank you.
It's the general laws in the charter.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilor Chouiat, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am in general agreement with the theory that this site is something that we should acquire as a city, and I've thought long and hard about this ever since the proposal came forward several weeks ago. I think it's a wonderful opportunity to provide amenities for the city and its residents. I think it's a chance to really create something signature that will attract, that will help with our tourism, that will give our residents, especially our residents in the downtown already, a wonderful amenity. I think it will help us spur on improvement of that waterfront area, because even though right now it is more of a mud front than a waterfront, there's some wonderful things that are going on there. There is a park that, although it's on the other side of it right now and people don't go to it too easily, there's a park that has wonderful potential. There's new businesses that have opened up. The family that owns the Clark family that owns the buildings next to that, where Orsini is, where Notch is, have done a lot of things to improve that. The former auto repair center is now a flatbread pizza and soon to be an additional food establishment there, and that's another chance to do things with the waterfront side and have the amenity. So I think we could really do some wonderful things to Derby Street as part of this and increase the value of that area and increase the value of the properties and businesses that are around it and bring in some money that way by increasing that. I do have concerns with using the CPA dollars to do it, because my thinking on it is that although, and I'm a strong supporter of the CPA, I think the CPA is a good thing, and yeah, the match from the state will inevitably decline as more and more cities go upon it. But Salem residents and Salem property owners who pay the registry of deeds, who pay fees at the registry of deeds, they're paying into the CPA whether they like it or not. There's no provision for one town to opt out of paying into the CPA. So as long as we're doing that, we're best off getting whatever we can proportionally back of it, whatever's available in that pool. And it's still the only thing we can do where we have some guaranteed return, whether it's 10 cents more on the dollar. It's the only way, right now it's about 25 cents on the dollar. Yeah, that may go down, but right now it's the only thing where we can raise a dollar and turn it magically into $1.25. It's the only thing that we know that can do that right now. And it's, that kind of magical accounting doesn't normally happen except here where there's a pool of matching funds, however it may be diluted in the future. But ultimately my concern with using the CPA to do this is based on the restrictions that a CPA purchase bring us. So, the kind of open space restrictions that are put on when you do a CPA purchase, rather than when you bond for it out of regular capital funds, are potentially onerous. I'm not prepared to go forward and use the CPA money in that direction. What I would like to see, and I've spoken to the mayor about this, I know the mayor's spoken to many members here, if not all of us, about it. My hope is that we could look at potentially getting that money out of general fund and then using the CPA as the money with which we could then do the refurbishment, do the improvements to it, improve the walkway, and put money into it from that angle. It's still money coming out of the same, they're just coming out of different pockets, but we're spending the same kind of money on doing the job. As to the value of it, I am concerned that the value that we've agreed to pay seems to be on the high side. I know the assessed value is based at least on its current use as a simple empty lot, because I know the condition of the property factors into your assessment. But I also know that this is a good amount of prime real estate in the B5. So it has an inherent value based on that, not just based on its current usage. I'm not a real estate expert other than owning a house and paying my real estate taxes. So I will leave that to experts and attorneys to figure out the details on it. But I'm in favor of authorizing this to move forward. I know that there's becoming some time sensitivity to it. I'd like to see if we can, I'd be fine with moving this forward this evening to authorize this to go forward, but I'm not sure that we should be using the CPA as the vehicle to do the purchase. But yes, there are opportunities, above and beyond for the city, and I think this is a very good one that if we don't take it, we lose it, and we lose it forever, so.
Thank you.
Councilor McCarthy and Councilor Epley.
Were you first, Councilor Dibble? Did you have your hand up?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I yield.
Thank you. In referencing back to the meeting from the other night, there was a very lively discussion. There was a lot of great points brought up, and I've heard from a bunch of different people. And I understand some of the concerns. I look at this as I stated the other night, it's a very unique opportunity that does not come along very often to be able to purchase a piece of property along a waterfront, of which every time I turn around, we as a city of Salem who happen to be on the waterfront, we are required more and more and more, just because our city happens to be on the waterfront, to provide access for everybody to get to that waterfront, no matter where they come from. This is a unique opportunity for the residents of the city of Salem to have a spot where they can access, because when you look at it, there is no, unless you're a member of on Pickering Wharf and you can get down onto the docks, you can't get to the water that way. I mean, whatever, I'm not gonna argue the points. All I'm saying, right now, the matter in front of us, the matter that we're talking about, the committee report we're talking about, is to authorize the mayor to go into negotiations for purchase of $1.4 million. Now, as the discussions we had the other night, we're looking to authorize the mayor just so that this body, I mean, if the will is not to show that we're behind the whole concept and idea, that's fine. I don't agree with it, but I agree with the will of the body. I personally think that we need to move forward. We need to let the mayor go out, sign a P&S, allowed to do some environmental impact looks at the property. At the same time, as those two things are going on simultaneously, I mean, some of these questions with regards to the charter can be answered. It could be a moot point, but right now, I mean, when you look at the second one that we referred to committee, we're talking about the bond for $1.4 million using Community Preservation Act. The whole discussion about Community Preservation Act dollars isn't even in front of us tonight, because that matter was already referred to remain in committee. So what we're talking about now is, do we want to authorize the mayor to explore the idea of moving forward to purchase this property and expend some funds in order to do an environmental impact? Because I'll be the first one to raise my hand and say no if it comes back and there's something contaminated on that site, because, I mean, no offense to the city, we own enough brownfield sites. Every time we do work in a park, it seems like we're spending an extra $1 million to clean something up before we can put up a swing set or a playground. It's just the way it is. I mean, we're built on urban fill, so to speak, and, the Great Fire of 14, thank you. The Great Fire of 1914, a lot of things were buried after that we are now coming back. It's the whole industrial age. I'm not going to sit here and talk about what was done back in the day in the city when how to get rid of stuff. But unfortunately, a lot of our public spaces are built over those fills. I look at the vote tonight as a look at, and, Council Lovely putting together this document, I wish I'd had a chance to look at it before the meeting. I guess he was passing them out, but I didn't get a chance to get one, is the ability to, this doesn't happen often. And I think we need to go forward enthusiastically to look at it, but also cautious at the same time. I mean, if you can do that. And so I look at the first committee report as that whole action is, this body says, yep, Mayor, we agree, conceptually it's a good idea. We don't understand all the moving parts, but conceptually it's a good idea. We want you to talk to the seller. We want you to let you know that we are serious, the city's serious. We want to look at it. We want to take that next step and do that environmental look to make sure that we're not getting in over our heads on this one. At the same time, while that's going on, answer all these questions, and if it comes back in that December meeting that we're ready to move forward and we have some answers, great. If not, it's a fish or cut bait. So we cut bait and someone else takes over the property. I mean, that's the way it seems. It seems like there's a big interest on it. This is our one shot. If that's a shot we don't want to take, so be it.
So,
Point of order, Mr. President. I had the assistant clerk go down to get the actual order that we're being asked to vote on. It says, the mayor is hereby authorized on behalf of the city of Salem to purchase the property located at 289 Derby Street at a cost of $1.4 million. $1.4 million. Said land shall be subject to an open space preservation restriction. It doesn't say negotiate. It doesn't say see if it's a good idea. We're giving the authorization to the mayor to purchase the property. I think everybody's willing to listen. That's why we're asking to go back to committee, get these things itemized. I'm not prepared to say, yes, Your Honor, go ahead and buy the property. That's what we're being asked to do, just by a point of order. That's what the order is, and that's what you're asking us to approve, just so you understand.
Councilor McCarthy and Councilor Epley to...
Thank you. Just brief. Also, the next one, the point of order is, we can authorize the mayor to do anything. We can authorize the mayor to enter into a purchase. She still can't purchase until it comes back till we bond it. So it's, we have the check, we have the balance. So, I mean, all I'm going to say is the potential for delay provides the opportunity for someone else to come in and take the property away from us. That's all I'm saying.
Councilor Epley.
I'm going to put it in even starker terms, Mr. President. Councilor McCarthy, during the committee meeting, made a very important point, and he said, I don't want to be in a position 5 years from now and looking back and having regrets. And I said, if we vote this down, that's going to, within 5 seconds, I'm going to have regrets. And I think that that's going to be for the majority of folks within Salem. It's a bit disingenuous to say that we're authorizing the mayor to purchase the property, and that she has the authority to purchase the property when she doesn't have the funds. And everyone who was in this room 2 days ago, the discussion was brought up specifically about this point, that the mayor, the administration has to come back to this body to get any funding approved, whether it's bonding or it's a cash payment. That has to come before this body. So it's disingenuous to say otherwise. What I would also say is that in an effort to get those, it's a numbers situation. There need to be 8 votes in order to pass this evening on the underlying committee report that we have here, and that's to authorize the purchase, and as Councilor McCarthy said, negotiate with the buyer. What hasn't been said so far on the floor tonight, but was said a couple of days ago, is that there is a potential private buyer for the same parcel at $1.4 million. So we're not talking about something that, oh, well, we can sit on this for a few weeks and can ruminate and can talk and think about things. All of that's important on the final vote for when we fund this. But if we aren't putting in our interest in this property by having the mayor able to research it, to be able to negotiate, to be able to have the ability to do the environmental study, it's going to be gone. Let's just be honest. It's going to be gone. So if we refer it to committee, I'll take it up, but it's going to be gone. What I would suggest, if we want to have one more lever against the administration, and I've heard a lot of comments from the body tonight about concerns about CPA funding. We can refer that back to committee tonight. We don't have to pass that this evening. That is something that we absolutely could keep in committee tonight without a problem. The only thing that needs to be passed tonight by 8 votes. The only thing that needs to be passed tonight by 8 votes is the underlying motion, underlying order tonight, and that's for the authorization to purchase. I hope that my colleagues vote down the referral of this order back to committee, and I hope that we can follow the path that I just outlined.
Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm glad that my colleague had mentioned about our other colleagues' comments from the other night. Something else that he brought up as well was that this was reminiscent of what this council worked on back with the Blaney Street lot. That look at that now and what was that before. And we have the opportunity to do something very similar. And this is going to be a missed opportunity. And the concern is that there's actually 2 potential buyers right now, and the 2 potential buyers are offering to put buildings there. And when we're trying to revitalize our Riverwalk and we're trying to revitalize our waterfront, this is part of that, and this is an opportunity that should not be missed. And this is something that the whole CPC, that the whole Community Preservation Committee supported wholeheartedly. Every single one of the members got up and spoke in favor of this. And we should stand with our committees that we appoint, and we should support this. And again, I can't emphasize this enough. This is just having her go to the table and having her negotiate and having her start the process. This isn't, and the further motions are about bonding it, and we still kept that. We voted to keep that in committee. So this isn't even giving her the exact funds to go do it. This is just getting her to the table. We need to get our mayor to the table.
Councilor Ryan.
Thank you. I'm for putting it in the committee because I don't like rushing on stuff like this. If the city is really this important to the city, we can take it by eminent domain. That's not the process you want to go. This person's not going to go and sell it. This thing, it seems like everything's rush, rush, rush. So $1.5 million is based on being able to build a commercial development there, not for what the city's going to do with it, which would be fine, open space, that's fine. I mean, but there's something needs to be looked at. Tuesday, we have the committee meeting. And then as far as the CPA money, I'm totally against spending any of that money because it cements the CPA in, which I'm not against the CPA. I think it does great things, but with the 5 years coming up and the chance for if something happens, you want to get out of it. But that's another issue. As far as, I think it should just go to committee and we should look at this. Don't sit on it, but I mean, it's something to look at.
Councilor McCarthy, then Councilor Lovely.
I was quoted in another meeting by a member of the public, and it's a lesson I learned from some various astute colleagues that I had the pleasure of serving with years ago, and they taught me how to count. And counting's a big thing, and the funny thing is, it was a conversation I've had with the good at-large counselor, and I saw her across the aisle going like this. She was counting. She was trying to figure it out too, and I already figured it out. So Councilor Milo's asked this matter be referred to the committee, then I'm smart enough to realize that A, the votes aren't there to keep it, aren't there to move it forward tonight, and I'm also smart enough to know the rules that if it fails tonight, then the matter can't be taken up until the next calendar year, of which then it will definitely be gone. So in order to have the opportunity to have a continued discussion about this, even though I don't agree with it, I will support Councilor Milo's, and I would ask all my colleagues to support Councilor Milo in letting these three matters remain in committee.
We have three separate matters, but Councilor Lovely.
Yeah, just briefly, we just found out about this on Tuesday. I and some other councils have done a great deal of work. We've only touched the surface. I was able to uncover the fact that I believe, at least from the charter and as well as Chapter 40, we can't pay $1.4 million. And I think there may be some other research that has to be done. There's another way to do it. We all think it's a good idea, great. But we found out about this on Tuesday. The public has a right to know. You're going to spend $10 million for a park. Public has a right to know that we're going to make that investment. They need to have some input into that investment, to call us, to let us know, or appear at a public hearing. This is too big a step to just say, we've got 48 hours and we're under the gun, either vote for it or we're going to lose it. I'm happy to have it go to committee. I've got a lot of questions, and everybody else should have a lot of questions, and I think the public will as well.
Councilor Epley.
Actually, last Tuesday was not the first time we've heard about this. On October 11th, we received a packet in which all of the orders were submitted to have this body be referred from the administration to our city council meeting. On October 13th, our last city council meeting, this matter was referred to the Administration and Finance Committee, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole. So again, it was we've had this for over 2 weeks. The Ward 3 councilor is correct. The first hearing we had was 2 days ago, but we, in fact, all of us were here on October 13th, and we had our packets on October 11th.
Councilor Gerard, Councilor Lovely.
Yeah, just, I guess maybe other people got some communication or some information that I didn't get, because I thought the first time any information was given out was at that particular finance committee. And the information some of the information we didn't get was this particular item of the city charter. And the administration was aware of it. They didn't let us know about it. And I have a problem with that. And, that needs to be addressed. And for 48 hours for me to find out, well, what about this particular item in the city charter? Oh yeah, I don't know how we're going to get around that. Well, we need some answers. And the first information that I got was at that particular finance meeting.
Councilor Fabiko.
Mr. President, can we move the question to send this to committee?
Agreed. On the motion to, Counselor Dibble?
Thank you, Mr. President. It's the first time tonight I've spoken on this, and I share the good Ward 1 councilors' enthusiasm for this project. I also would like to see this go forward, but I don't think the votes are here tonight. But more importantly, so many of my colleagues, including myself, have a lot of questions that were just kicked up from the first time the public can see and commented on this on Tuesday to tonight. That's a really fast turnaround. I agree with the Ward 4 councilor that we've had it for a while. I've read the information, but the public just received it this week. And it's a big project, it's a lot of dollars, coupled with the chamber sending us a 7-point email that I opened this morning, received it last night, it looks like, with some contrary type of information that we should look at and weigh, but also the package, three-page package that I was just handed tonight that says that we can't do this. We need to look into this. I also received several phone calls at home from residents of Salem that were in opposition to this for even other reasons that aren't listed on these documents that I have here before me. So I absolutely support bring this into committee, as the good at-large councilor suggested, and hopefully we can hammer these out and see really fast in committee, which I am a member of the Administration for Finance. I think we can hammer out all these details, hopefully, and get this project going. Thank you.
So, Councilor Famico asked to move the question. On the matter of referring the purchase of, the order to authorize the mayor to purchase property and keep that in the Committee of Administration and Finance, co-post with the Committee of the Whole. So this is on the motion to remain in committee. All those in favor? All those opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, the matter carries. Councilors Epley and Gerard recorded opposed. Further committee reports. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, in City Council, October 27th, 2016, the Committee on Administration and Finance, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of a loan order in the amount of $1.4 million to be appropriated to pay costs for the Community Preservation Act CPA project, acquisition of 289 Derby Street for recreation purposes, and the payment of all costs incidental and related thereto, has considered said matter and would recommend that the matter remain in committee.
On acceptance of the committee report, all those in favor, all those opposed, so moved. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
No discussion.
On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor, all those opposed, so moved. Further committee reports. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, October 27, 2016, in City Council Administration, the Committee on Administration and Finance co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of an order to authorize the mayor to purchase property located at 289 Derby Street on behalf of the City of Salem.
This is the $100,000 appropriation.
Oh,
Councilor.
Sorry. I had the wrong one in front of me. So we did that one already. Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, October 27, 2016, the Committee on Administration and Finance co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of a $100,000 appropriation be made within the CPA funds for fiscal year 2017 to the CPA 289 Derby Street design and costs, has considered said matter and would recommend adoption by roll call vote.
On acceptance of the committee report, all those in favor, all those opposed, so moved. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would entertain a motion that this matter be referred back to the Administration and Finance Committee co-posted with the Committee of the Whole.
So moved.
So motion has been made. Seconded by Councilor McCarthy. Any further discussion?
No discussion.
On adoption of the recommendation, or on adoption of the motion to refer back to the Committee on Administration and Finance, co-posted the Committee of the Whole. All those in favor? All those opposed? So moved. Councilor Gerard recorded opposed. Further committee reports. Councilor Gerard.
City of Salem and City Council, October 27, 2016. The Committee on Public Health, Safety, and the Environment co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of creating an ordinance regarding plastic bags and polystyrene food and beverage container reduction in Salem, has considered the said matter and would recommend that the attached ordinance be adopted for first passage.
On acceptance of the committee report, all those in favor, all those opposed, so moved. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, I don't really have too much to add because I think Ms. Yokelson did a fantastic job describing exactly the importance of this ordinance, of this recommendation, and but I will say that we did have some fantastic discussions. We Also invited all of the big businesses, anyone, and we also had Rena Stostuk from the Chamber of Commerce here to weigh in. We had Salem Sound Coast Watch, we had students here, we had the one business that did come, which I am grateful for them, was Crosby's. And thankfully they spoke at length on this. And what we did was, working with our assistant city solicitor, we came up with a solid ordinance that will hopefully reduce plastic bags and reduce the debris that we find in on our beaches, on our streets, and in our storm drains. There was one actual request for an amendment that I've quickly reviewed with the committee, and if I can read from the section on a reusable bag, that reusable bag means a bag that is specifically designed and manufactured for multiple reuse and is either polyester, polypropylene, cotton, or other durable material, and meets the following requirements. 1, has a minimum lifetime capability of 125 or more uses carrying 22 more pounds, and 2, is machine washable or is made of a material that can be cleaned or disinfected 125 times, and the amendment would be number 3, has a thickness of greater than 4 mils. As Ms. Yokelson pointed out and shared with me, which I also shared with the committee, that there have been studies done that have shown that the plastic bags that, for example, Market Basket sells for 10 cents, that those are continuing to be single-use bags, and so it's the thicker bags that people have a tendency to use more, and so that's why the recommendation was made to to include the thickness in what defines a reusable bag. And again, the whole purpose of this was just to decrease people's usage of the point of sale bags, which end up being one-time use bags.
Any further discussion on Councilor Fumiko?
Thank you. Just like to applaud the chair of this committee, as well as the other members and the members of the public that took part in this. Back in 2006, I was living in South Africa, a third world country, and they were already just charging for bags then, and they were way ahead of us, as were other places. So I'm glad that we're catching up to where other places have been. I know I have my collection of reusable bags, and I'm hoping that people add to theirs, whether, even if it's not even just going to stores. I went to Costco with my mom last night, and she brings reusable bags when she goes there as well. So good work with that, and I'm happy to support this.
Any further discussion? Councilor Gerard?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just to point out something, especially to the folks at home, that one of the most important messages that came from that committee and came from the public was that when we decide to do this, when we decide to put this into effect, that we make sure that we have a comprehensive education program. And so one of the things that we decided was that this would not go into effect until January 1st, 2018. This way it gives our retailers time to deplete their plastic bag surplus, and it also gives people time to, and especially hopefully with Salem Sound Coast Watch, they can help us educate the public on other options for bags for shopping.
Can I ask as a point of order that somebody make the motion to add the amendment as a friendly amendment?
So moved.
Councilor Epley moves that the proposed amendment be added as a friendly amendment. I assume you accept it.
I accept.
Yes. Councilor Fury.
Mr. President, Salem was one of the first cities and towns to go no smoking in restaurants a while ago, over a decade ago. No smoking in restaurants. We take that for granted. How lucky we are to walk around the streets of Salem, restaurants in Salem, and to dine without smoking. We think nothing of it. This is the right step in the right direction to have no bags, no plastic bags in the city of Salem. I think it sends a message to the state of Massachusetts, to the legislature, to maybe put us all on a level playing field. Maybe they, as they did, the legislature gave a local option for cities and towns, even in elderly housing. No smoking in elderly housing. And our Salem Housing Authority enacted that. No smoking in public authority, in public housing in Salem. And it's working out fine. With an educational process. It did a very slow, deliberative process of educating its residents. And I think this motion to allow education, maybe Salem State students and Salem Sound Watch, is it? I apologize.
Coast Watch.
Salem Coastal Watch will do an educational process. And that worked out very, very good for the residents in Salem Housing Authority. No smoking. Safety-wise, health-wise, long-term benefits. So I see this as a win-win for the city of Salem. We're sending a message Could it be more? Cell phone cops and other things? Sure, later on. But one thing at a time, we send a message. We can be very proud of what we did. No smoking in restaurants, now no smoking in public housing. Now this step, for the health and for the sake of the environment and our own health, this is exciting. Thank you, Councilor.
Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President. Being a member of the committee, it was a privilege to work on this. I think we had a nice explanation by our chairperson and my fellow councilor at large, who just summed up the effort. I think a lot of credit needs to go to two former Salem High School students, Tori Keiko and her friend Lisa, and I forget her last name.
Again.
Thank you. That when they approached us for the first time, I think in February, March, we would have, if we passed it back then, we would have been about the 21st city or town in Massachusetts. And time has gone on, we've studied it, and we kept changing it and making it more friendly and delaying it to allow for an education program to kick in and allow the stores to adapt to it. As I understand it, Crosby's right now, of all their stores in the entire region, 4 of their stores are located in towns that already have a restriction on these plastic bags. And they've adapted, and it seems to be working. But along the way, many other cities and towns in Massachusetts have approved this. And we heard about a month ago that we were the 31st. We would have been the 31st if we passed it then. But tonight we heard testimony that it would be the 39th. It's Councilor at large, we're no longer leading this, but we're catching up. So I absolutely encourage my fellow councilors to pass this. It's been well vetted by this committee for months and months and months, and our chairperson has done an excellent job in coordinating it, as well as Salem Sound Coast Watch assisting with technical advice, and the general public as well. It's time. Thank you.
Councilor Epley.
I'm not going to repeat anything that's been said. I've been in strong support of this since the beginning. I just want to correct one thing I think that was in the Salem News article. I was not present at the most recent committee meeting because I was dealing with a work issue, a day job issue. And I believe it was reported that I abstained. I was actually absent. So I just want to reflect that for the record. And nothing against the reporter, but I want to make sure that that's reflected.
Thank you, reporter. Any further discussion? On Councilor Gerard's motion for adoption for first passage, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further committee reports. Councilor Fury.
Yes, please. Councilor Choyo.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem City Council, October 27, 2016. The Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of the disposition and deed restriction of city-owned parcel located at 297 Bridge Street, has considered said matter and would recommend that the matter remain in committee.
On discussion, please.
On the adoption of the recommendation.
On the adoption of the recommendation of the committee.
Or on acceptance of the committee report, sorry.
All in favor? All opposed? So moved. Thank you.
Now on.
On the discussion, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. We met with this earlier this week. We got a look at the prospective language that was set up by the city solicitor and the administration on the conveyance that would be assigned to the conveyance of the 297 Bridge Street parcel. Should Webb or its affiliate be the successful bidder on this for an auction that has been scheduled for the 14th of November. The members of the City Council had several suggestions for changes, modifications, or clarifications to be added to it. The city solicitor was taking those in, and we are leaving it in committee for us to be able to review it as needed before before the actual conveyance and acceptance of that auction comes back before us as a body. So for the time being, this remains in committee. The final language would come back to us for review before we would accept this as a council.
On the request of Councilor Choyo to send it to committee, any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, please raise your hand in favor. All those in favor? All those opposed? Seeing no opposed, unanimous. Councilor Choyo.
City of Salem City Council, October 27, 2016. The Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of home rule petitions to convert seasonal liquor license to annual license and grant additional licenses for liquor license for the sale of all alcoholic beverages to be drunk on the premises, has considered said matter, would recommend the following. One additional license for the sale of all alcoholic beverages to be drunk on the premises of Merchant Hotel located at 148 Washington Street be granted. One additional license for the sale of wine and malt beverages to be drunk on the premises to Brew in the Grid Salem located at 217 Essex Street be granted. to convert a currently issued seasonal license for the sale of all alcoholic beverages to be drunk on the premise currently issued to Bonchon located 299 Essex Street be granted. To convert a currently issued seasonal license for the sale of all alcoholic beverages to be drunk on the premises currently issued to Flatbread located 311 Derby Street be withdrawn, and the granting of 5 additional licenses for the sale of all alcoholic beverages to be drunk on the premises to remain in committee, and that is my committee report after this.
On acceptance of the committee's report, all those in favor? All those opposed? Unanimous? Councilor Choyal, on discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. This, we wound up separating this into 2 separate discussions. We all unanimously supported the issuing of the licenses for the 3 locations that we have being granted within this order. Flatbread withdrew theirs because they have purchased the license that was formerly used at Leslie's Retreat. So they're transferring that to their location now. And so we have 3 licenses to be issued here. And as I said, the Committee of the Whole accepted this unanimously.
Any further discussion, please? Hearing no discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed? Seeing no opposition? Unanimous.
This is the committee report, right?
That's, yeah, on adoption of the recommendation.
No,
So,
that's
which is
as
adopt
written
the,
there, right?
to adopt the 3 home rule
Yeah, the
ones.
five licenses are.
That's the next one, is the 5 licenses, Counselor.
Okay, so let's go on.
Councilor Choyal.
So,
Committee
that-
report.
thank you. City of Salem City Council, October 27, 2016. The Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of the home rule petitions, grant 5 additional liquor licenses for the sale of all alcoholic beverages to be drunk on the premises to establishments located within the B5 Central Business District, the Entrance Corridor, Overlay Zoning Districts, or Derby and Congress Street, has considered said matter, would recommend adoption.
On acceptance of the committee's report, all those in favor? All those opposed? Unanimous? Councilor Choyal, under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. We also have, I will ask for a motion for, I'll ask a member to make a motion that if you have the corrected language that was given to us to clarify the zoning by the city solicitor, to adopt that as a amendment, friendly amendment, that would be under section 3, grant 5 additional licenses for the sale of all alcoholic beverages to be drunk at the premises pursuant to Section 12 of said Chapter 138 to establishments located within the City of Salem's B5 Central Business District, the Entrance Corridor Overlay Zoning Districts, or Derby and Congress Streets, the location of which shall be subject to the city zoning ordinance.
So moved.
Second. Thank you, so.
Under discussion, Councilor Choyal.
Under discussion.
Thank you.
Well, I
That's
still
under
have to.
discussion, right?
Yeah, I have to start it, though. Well, Council.
Discussing the amendment.
Discussing the amended, you want to discuss the amendment?
The amendment that we just.
Friendly amendment
we
that I've
just kinda
accepted?
voted on, yeah.
Okay.
From the city solicitor. I'm just, have some questions on.
Councilor Sergeant?
It's in red here and very faint. The location of which shall be subject to the city's zoning ordinance, right? I would like to take some wording right out of the city zoning ordinance to go by that and suggest this. These licenses shall conform to the table of principal and accessory use regulations of the City of Salem zoning ordinance. That way it's right there, exactly the way it's written in the zoning ordinance.
Second.
Councilor Choyal?
I have no problem accepting that, that's.
Okay.
So we strike the red, put that in, and
You can add that.
and we're
either.
good. Thank you very much.
You can simply add that as a clarification, if you like, to
Right.
the
Right, as is.
amended. So we would accept the amendment for the city solicitor, and then also accept your amendment at the end of that?
Yes.
So I can accept that.
Thank you. I'll give it to the city solicitor clerk in writing.
So-
Further discussion, Councilor Lovely, please.
I still,
Oh, I apologize.
not a problem. So I've accepted both amendments, the city solicitor's amendment and Councilor Sargent's amendment. This was our, this was also something we met on Tuesday night. This is a new idea that the city is doing. A lot of other communities have begun doing this process rather than going piecemeal to the legislature for each individual license, which can take as long as a year and sometimes even more to get issued. We decided, like many other communities are doing, including Peabody and Beverly, to go and apply for a block of additional licenses, because in their wisdom, the legislature has yet to see fit to return control of liquor licenses to the town cities. The Senate has attempted to do so, the governor has attempted to do so, but thus far the House has not been amenable to that. We are looking to add an additional 5 licenses to a pool. These would not be special in any particular way or have any privileges above and beyond what a regular liquor license has today. And just to be clear, no restaurant could not open up already by purchasing an existing liquor license and then locating in a town or in a section of town that they were allowed to by zoning. These home rule licenses would not give any additional privileges to those. We also, as a council, decided that we would set up a committee to look at these licenses before issuing and issue a recommendation on them, but that the city council would then also be able to put a recommendation to the licensing board on. The committee we're still working on the exact composition, but it would include people with economic development interests, neighborhood groups, and city council representation to look at any proposals that come in to issue these new liquor licenses once they're released to us by the state. And then ultimately those licenses will be under the control of the licensing board to issue based on those recommendations as they see fit. So the council was very supportive of this overall. There was a small amount of opposition. There were some questions asked, but overall, the body was wished to move forward with it. So,
thank you. Councilor Lovely, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, I was at the meeting, and there were some questions relative to the council wanted to have some control. Right now, when a home rule petition comes in, usually we have a location for it, and then we, based on our knowledge of the neighborhoods and so forth, we decide. We've granted them all, from what I understand. In my tenure, that we've granted them all. Prior to, we've granted them all. However, the council expressed an interest to be able to have another second look at it, so we know where these licenses are going to go. I agreed to work with Senator Lovely and Representative Tucker to try to come to a resolution, see if we could do the language in such a way that would allow that. I had some extensive discussions with Senator Lovely, who spoke to the Senate Council. It's unclear as to how we would approach that, and we're going to have to get some more explanation next week or how we can approach that. I spoke with the city solicitor today, and while the process is that they're hoping to develop an RFP process and have a scoring system, et cetera, in speaking with the Senate Council, that's not within the purview of the mayor's office. This belongs to the licensing board. And I spoke with the city solicitor, and she agreed and said, okay, well, that's a better idea anyway, that we have them set a criteria and have them put the RFP out, and then we have some council input as far as that's concerned. Now, there's no rush for these five licenses because there's no RFP process set up with a licensing board. So we don't have to act on this evening. I spoke to the city solicitor. She agreed that we should have the parameters of what the licensing board is going to ask for. This RFP is going to have to be issued by the licensing board. We'd like to have a component in there, whether it has to come back to the city council for approval, so we can look at the locations that are there, or that there'll be some sort of recommendation from the city council so that we would have some input. Because currently, as I pointed out, we have the ability to say yay and nay and send these special, these home rule petitions up. We do the 5, we have no say. And the mayor has been on record in saying that evening that she doesn't have any opposition to the city council having a say in this. And I think that we should put this in committee. I thought that it was staying in committee until we got these issues resolved. And the city solicitor was blunt, not blunt, but very understanding, saying it's fine, let's just get the 3 that we want to send to the legislature and get those done, and the other 5 can wait, because the legislature is going to act on them this year, and then it's going to be next year before they get back underway after the election, after the reorganization, and then the committees are assigned, and then by that time, the RFP process from the city of Salem set up before the licensing board, through the licensing board, and any potential additional information or approval the city council may have, we'll have that in our regulations and in the next home rule petition that goes up, which we could amend there. So I'd always ask for those reasons that it stay in committee.
And then Councilor Lovely wishes to request to send it back to committee for further discussion.
No, second on that?
Is there a second?
Second.
I'll second.
Councilor Churiel.
Yeah, I don't have a particular problem with that. There's no significant rush to get these. We have already taken care of the 3 conversions that we had direct demand for, and although I'm very supportive of getting these liquor licenses issued, I do want that to happen. I also don't have a problem with us taking a little bit more time to get them if we can have the opportunity to set up a process where the city council can in fact have a voice on this. So that is one of the, concerns that's been brought up, that was brought by several members at the meeting, and I have no real issue with us doing that accordingly, because one of the things that was discussed when I had some discussions with the mayor when we were doing this was the idea that a committee would have, at least, for instance, representation from a counselor at large and a ward counselor, just as for, so the more input we can have on issuing these, the better, and so I have no objection to this remaining in committee at this point.
Any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, Councilor Torriella's request to send it back to committee and keep it in committee? All those in favor? All those opposed? So moved. Thank you.
Nope.
All right. Communication from city officials, none. Petitions.
We have a request from the residents of Beach Ave, from Cheval to Juniper Ave, to hold a block party on November 11th from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. to rededicate the World War II memorial in that neighborhood.
Councilman McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this petition be granted.
Councilman McCarthy moves to be granted. Under discussion.
Block party was the only way I could get the street closed. We're not going to be partying at 7 o'clock in the morning. No, it wouldn't be.
This is the Willows.
It is the Willows. The Willows would be not opposed to partying at 7 o'clock in the morning. But it's a very serious thing. The neighbors approached me with regards to, they want to rededicate the World War II memorial that's down there. 4 brave men gave their lives that lived in the neighborhood during the service of World War II. And I think it's 70th anniversary of the end of, we're looking, they want to rededicate it, clean it up a little bit, bring a little, highlight it back to the war to end all wars, so to speak. So they asked me if I could get the street closed, and with the veterans agent's going to come down. And our service will be prior to, as we all know, the 11th hour, the 11th day, at the high school, where we have our normal Veterans Day services at the high school. This will be in the morning prior, so if anyone wants to bring a cup of coffee and come down and witness it, we're trying to pull together some festivities to honor those people. So I ask for approval.
Thank you. On Councilor McCarthy's motion, this be granted. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further petitions.
We have license applications for limousine, public guides, and taxi operators.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move these matters be granted.
Councilor McCarthy moves these be granted. All under discussion?
No discussion.
On Councilor McCarthy's motion, they be granted. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further petitions.
We have 1 license application for a taxi operator.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that it be denied.
Councilor McCarthy moves this be denied. Under discussion?
No discussion.
On Councilor McCarthy's motion, this be denied. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further petitions.
We have a hearing request for Sigfrido Pena on the denial of his taxi operator license.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this matter be referred to the Committee on License or Legal Affairs to hold an executive session.
On Councilor McCarthy's motion to refer to Committee on Ordinance, License, Legal Affairs to hold executive session. All in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further petitions.
We have 1 constable bond.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this matter be referred to the Committee on License, Order of Legal Affairs and returned approved.
Councilor McCarthy moves this be referred to the Committee on Ordinance, License, Legal Affairs and returned approved. Under discussion?
No discussion.
Councilor McCarthy's motion. All those in favor? All those opposed? So moved. Unfinished business.
We have second passage of an ordinance amending the zoning map for the parcel located at 293 Bridge Street from NRCC to B4 and 297 Bridge Street from R2 to B4.
Councilor Famico.
I move this be approved by roll call vote.
Councilor Famico moves
Move
for adoption.
of second and final passage.
Moves for adoption for second and final pass by roll call vote. Under discussion.
We've had quite a lengthy discussion on this. Most recently, this past Tuesday, we started going into the deed restrictions for this particular property. That ties into what can and cannot happen and future use limitations for even within B4. With that being said, I just move that we adopt or move for a second and final passage.
Any further discussion? Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President. 2 very small friendly amendments to this. Under the Exhibit A.
It's only for the change in zoning.
Oh, I apologize.
Any further discussion? Councilor Sargent.
I'll be brief with, through the cliff notes. We all understand what's going on here, but I just have to mention that I really think the city should maintain this asset as a parking lot. And I liken it to the parking lot between Norman Street and 1 Barton Square that we'd love to have back, that we sold some 30, 40 years ago. We'd love to have that convenience, and we'd love to have that revenue today. And secondly, I really view this as an eminent domain taken of a quality of life for a good neighborhood. And all neighborhoods matter in Salem and everywhere else. And again, there's property values based on location. We're lifting up this neighborhood and we're moving its location. We're moving it from next door to an R2 zone to next door to a B4 zone. And that's going to affect their property values and their quality of life for years to come. Whether or not some of them stay there, whether or not their children take over their houses also. So, thank you, and I'll yield.
Any further discussion? Seeing none. On Councilor Miko's motion for adoption for second and final passage by roll call vote, Madam City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Counselor Dibble?
Roll call.
May I have a minute, please?
Pardon?
Thank you, Mr. President. May we suspend for about 1 minute, please, so I can have a discussion?
Recess for 1 minute?
Recess for 1 minute.
1 minute. So motion for a 1 minute recess? Sure.
Thank you.
See no objection, sir? Motion to resume, please?
So moved.
Madam City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Counselor Dibble?
Yes.
Counselor Epley?
Yes.
Counselor Famiko?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Gerard?
Yes.
Counselor Lovely?
No.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Milo?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
No.
Counselor Terrio?
Yes. On the motion, on the question of second passage zoning ordinance map for parcel located at 293, 297 Bridge Street to move from NRCC to B4 and 297 from R2 to B4 for second passage, 11 councilors present, 11 councilors voting, 9 in the affirmative, 2 in the negative. The matter carries.
I move for immediate reconsideration in hopes that it does not prevail.
Councilor Famiko moves for immediate reconsideration in the hopes it does not prevail. All those in favor? All those opposed? Opposed. The motion does not carry. Further unfinished business.
No, I just,
We have second passage of an ordinance amending traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking, repeal Cabot Street.
Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption for second and final passage.
Councilor Gerard moves for adoption for second and final passage. Under discussion.
No discussion.
Thank you. On Councilor Gerard's motion for adoption for second and final passage, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Councilor Fury. Oh, Councilor. All right, Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wonder if you'll indulge me if we can revert back to page 12 for a brief change, please. We can reconsider to the committee reports, page 12.
What are we looking at, Councilor?
The first matter on here,
Yeah?
where we have, just want to clarify one small item here, please.
Just for
Councilor
point, we need to have unanimous approval to go back to that next week.
A very small item.
Just to make sure we're all on board.
Yeah, do we have said approval to go back? Any objections? Seeing none, Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, councilors. Yes, Mr. President. Under the memorandum of sale for the Webb property, under attachment A, very minor change.
Councilor, that's been referred back to committee. We did not pass it tonight.
I apologize.
Sorry.
Back to committee again.
Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's been a long night, so just a quick point of personal privilege that there's going to be a cleanup at Furlong Park on Saturday, November 5th from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, and it's usually a fun time, so hopefully people will join us.
Thank you. Seeing no further, Councilor Famiko?
Only thing, point of personal privilege, just be aware a lot of streets will be closed down this weekend, even some starting at 4 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. It's includes part of Essex streets on Halloween Day. Specifically, a lot of streets are on the Common, so just be aware, be patient, and happy Halloween.
Thank you. Seeing no further discussion, Councilor Fury.
Motion to adjourn, Mr. President.
Councilor Fury moves we adjourn. All those in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned.